like you. Just like you.
Africa TV Freak Up Studio Live 2022 GSL Season 1 Code S
Sometimes I hunt for the storm just to weather it. Prefer them deadly than challenge accepted. And don't get too friendly, my motives are treacherous. There's a
Lives. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a little while here for GSL Codehouse, but we're finally here. We've returned for the year 2022. We missed you.
Yeah, especially me. It's been so long since I've casted anything at this point, Tasteless, that I was jonesing for today. I'm so happy that we're finally back here with Code S. We've got this exciting new format. We've got a lot of great players. We've got some players returning that we haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be a great season.
It's also going to be on a new patch. We have a new iteration of StarCraft 2. We'll be unpacking that for you guys as we get into the games a little bit. New maps as well, but a lot to kind of reinvigorate the whole StarCraft 2 scene.
Yeah, and I am excited about that. I think that it is going to mix things up a little bit more than I think some people are thinking it's going to. And we'll see. Are we going to have another Zerg champion this season?
I've got my fingers crossed, no.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope that the changes do kind of mix it up a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. But either way, man, it's good to be back. And we've got a long road ahead of us here for 2022. For those of you that joined us on Super Tournament, that was a blast. But now we're really getting into the Star League thick of it here with GSL.
Yeah, and we have a new format, which is awesome. First, let's take a look at our schedule. As you can see, Mondays and Thursdays, that is what we are all about. Now, we have 5 groups because we are right now in the round of 20. It is a different format. We'll go to a round of 10 after that. And yeah, so on and so forth. As you can see, there's also like a round of 6. So it's a very different format this time, and we'll explain that to you as we get into it. One thing you need to know is the round of 20. This is going to be just regular GSL-style groups.
Yeah, it won't feel different at all.
Yeah, that's going to be exactly the same. Top 2 from each group go into the round of 10, where it's going to be round robin. And then it gets a little bit, it looks tricky, but basically the 2 winners of the round of 10 groups will go to the round of 4, and the second and third places will play off in almost their own elimination GSL group in the round of 6, where the winners will end up going into that round of 4, and then, of course, the finals there at the end. So it feels like there's almost like more play in the middle of the tournament. You know what I mean? There's more opportunities to really show what you've got.
I like this new format. And like we've done in the past, I like some of the changes we've made here in GSL. I mean, ultimately it is, a giant tournament that, people are hacking and slashing their way through week after week until we do get one player. But I think, especially in these middle portions, making it a little bit more interesting and making the stakes a little bit different. In the past, it was like a round of 32, and then the group stages went on forever, and then you get to the round of 16, and it's the exact same feeling. And I think what the staff's really done here with a new format like this is make each part, each phase of the tournament interesting and different.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice and refreshing considering we're in like year 12 or 13 of GSL at this point.
I think it's 12 now. Because I remember
first GSL was...
We got to year 10 and it was like, I can't believe it. And then it got to year 11, it's like, damn. And here we are. Yeah, I think it is year 12. By the way, we have our map lineup at the bottom of the screen. Roughneck will be joining us in the map lineup.
Yep. And we'll hopefully play that here today. I haven't seen the map vetoes yet, but we'll be showing that momentarily
here. I think it's likely to be vetoed. This happens in a lot of GSLs. We're like,
there's
this new map, and then we don't see it until the finals, and I've already forgotten it's in the lineup, and then we're like, all right, let's figure out what this map's all about.
Let's take a look at our groups. Of course, today, Dark, Classic, DRG, and Dream. We'll talk more about that in the future, but yeah, it's... Do any of the groups like really stand out to you, Tasteless?
I mean, honestly, I think Group A might be the most interesting one. It's going to be fun to see how Zhao performs in Group C here. Nightmare's in there as well. We'll see how Bjorn's wrists are doing. But honestly, out of all of them, I think Group A stands out the most. What about you?
Okay. I'm kind of into D&E a little bit. Gumiho, I'm really excited to see what type of shape he is going to be in. Crater's been doing a lot better. Solar had a good Katowice trap, best Protoss there is, so that's kind of fun. And then Group E, I think, is pretty reasonable too, and I'm excited to see how Ragnarok is going to do without Queens transfusing off of Creep, because that's like 90% of his strats.
Dude, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a real big change here. for Zergs in general. I mean, that is, something that Zergs so many times have hinged victories on, is kind of strong-arming fights with transfuses, with queens in locations that are, not centered on the Zerg defending anything. They've obviously won games defending with that as well, but this really shifts it. It actually makes me think all the way back to the moment where they made the queen not fast on off of creep.
Yeah, well, that was definitely a great change, considering back then it was like literally you just make mostly queens and a few roaches and go in all matchups.
Yeah, you'd YOLO it to their base, but much welcome change. We'll see, what roles it's going to play in the games we've got here today. Over here for Group A, I don't know. I think this is a tougher one to call here. We're going to have Dark versus Classic to start things off.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Dark, one of the best players in the world. He's got to be one of the favorites for this season. We'll see how, of course, the patch affects him, but going up against Classic, Classic's been back for a little bit now. He hasn't shown us great results, but his play hasn't looked bad either. He's had some good close matches. He's looked pretty strong overall. And I'm hoping that we get to see Classic reach his old form this year. Because, remember the last live BlizzCon we had where Classic was, the only player showing anything that wasn't Zerg. Remember, how many DTs was it? The 17 DT blanket or whatever? It was, the guy is just amazing when he's on.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun to have him back here and see what he can do now. We are in the phase of StarCraft. We're seeing this in StarCraft 1 as well, but StarCraft 2 especially, where people have done their compulsory military service. They come back. They're now free to do whatever they want with the rest of their lives as far as the Korean government's concerned. So let's see what happens here.
All right. Looks like we're going to have Hardwire, Glittering Ashes, and Roughneck if we make it to map 3. All right, excellent.
Already a little bit of promise here, but Dark, an extremely strong Zerg here, as good as Classic is. I'm interested in seeing how this matchup's going to pan out. Let's not forget, big thing to talk about here today, guys. Queens can no longer transfuse off of creep. What does that mean for this matchup and for this season? Let's start to find out. Our first game's ready.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark. Alpha X, Classic.
Now, of course, another one of the big changes. I'm sure a lot of people watching this have already, of course, read through the patch notes.
Right.
And seen a lot of people's takes. I even made a video about it and everything. But yeah, of course, the Void Rays being nerfed a bit there. That definitely could impact. We've had, and honestly, I've been a big proponent of it. Just about every match, I'm like, yeah, what they should do here is make Void Rays and just get into the late game. But I think we're going to see less of that, which is probably very, very healthy for the matchup. I'm thinking we aren't going to just get into endgame mass spellcasters and flying units every single time, which is, I think, in theory, what you were actually supposed to do before this patch, even though some players would not go for that. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, let's also keep in mind, Zerg can still spread creep. Right, and we
not quickly though, right? You can't just get it half map or something.
You can get it pretty fast.
Whoa,
so,
that's crazy.
I mean, as much
they should do that.
As this may be an impact here on the game as far as some types of abusive moves. Again, if you can get creep there, the idea still remains. So I think there is a possibility that some of the changes that are intended for this may end up kind of in a game that's pretty standard where they can really control the map. It may just kind of look the same anyways. We'll see. Let's just try to approach this patch here with an open mind, and the pro gamers have really labbed out a lot of stuff, so let's see what they got.
Yeah, and of course, shield batteries, obviously, they're going to have half the energy if they're outside the next field, so we got to watch for that as well.
So looks like it is going to be a Stargate opening here.
Yeah, and is it going to be Void Ray, though? I'll tell you what, Tasteless, I think it's going to be Oracle. I could see you still making a Void Ray, you know?
Just to chase away Overlords.
Yeah, but I
that.
could also see you just saying, you know what, screw it, let's make a Phoenix.
Maybe. So again, the tit for tat here in early game, and it's going to be a Void Ray.
All right.
Start things off.
Well, there is this funny thing, right? When things get nerfed, and just to be clear, right, the Void Ray takes 6 more seconds to build. Obviously, if you, like, realign your Chrono Boost or something, maybe that's not going to make as big a difference from you. And the mineral cost going up from 200 to 250, right? So,
right.
I mean, it's a reasonable nerf. But there's something funny that happens when stuff gets nerfed. A lot of times people say, it's gone, it's dead, forever.
This is very common and oftentimes wrong.
Yeah, one of the funniest ones ever that literally ever happened in my entire life. And, like, when they, remember Blue Flame, it used to give, like, +10 against light.
Right.
And
yeah.
then it got nerfed. If I recall this correctly, it was down to +5 versus light. And I remember Special told me immediately, he's like, Hellions can't even be used anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? That is a +5 attack upgrade. That is very high quality. Anyways.
No, it is a thing where
that was like 10 years ago, but
no, but you'll see this in StarCraft. You'll see this in other games as well, where like something gets nerfed, even like a fighting game where like the fireball damage of something gets changed. And people are like, well, now we can't use it. And a lot of people actually won't use it. And then months later, they'll be like, nah, actually, it's still pretty good. I mean, a lot of times they nerf this stuff so that it can be used more fairly, not so it can never be used at all.
Yeah, and honestly, when you think about it, right, like, okay, well, the Void Rays are a little bit more expensive, and they take a little bit longer to make. Ooh, a Nidus.
Nidus.
Yeah. You know, what would make that unusable at this point? And I think you would think, like, oh, well, the Queen marches could be stronger because you won't have as many Voids, but you can't march them, so you have to do something like this, the Nidus.
And I think you could set up to have Crate put over here in this Nidus network that comes out. So this may be like a setup, almost like an anti-patch strat.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, where people, you know, all the stuff we're talking about, like you can't do this. He's like, well, if I actually tweak a few things here or there, yes, in fact, you can.
Yeah, they did make it so that the creep comes out of the Nidus a little bit further, which I think was a direct buff to the Queen all-ins with it. Because obviously they can't transfuse off creep, right? So we might just see Dark get a kill here.
Yeah, here we go.
Out.
Kind of surprising to see that Classic did not have anything to spot for this. I mean, this isn't a new idea, right? Especially in maps like this where you have that kind of hanging area in your main base plateau that's kind of pulled down. So let's see if he can actually hang on here, but right now, not so good as Nidus Networks are leapfrogging forward. And by the way, both Stargates are unpowered.
Oof.
And I think even if the Void Ray can pop out with it being repowered, it's probably going to be killed off immediately. The Immortal's going to come up onto the high ground and try to take a fight. It's all the way in the back, but there are so many Lings. And again, the Stargates cannot produce.
Yeah, but, you know, Classic is doing his best trying to hold. He's getting rid of that other Nidus that's popping up in his third. He put a force field down there to catch a bunch of the Lings. But losing all these buildings in the main, I mean, this is obviously looking like it's going to be a Dark victory.
And, yeah, I mean, this is all but over, I would imagine, here. The third base isn't mining. He's squeezed on production here at the Natural. There's shield batteries. But this should be GG in a moment here. It looks like Dark in a pretty straightforward classic Nidus rush, winning in a new iteration of StarCraft 2.
The Queen's coming down the ramp. They don't even care that they can't transfuse right now. They're like, hey, why are you doing this? You can't transfuse. They're like, yeah, you're not supposed to build Void Rays. So
the Banelings are actually stuck behind the Queens. They do eventually spill through. Hitting the sweet spot there. The Immortal is going to go down. And GG finally comes in here as Dark. Gets the fatality there onto Classic. And again, you know, we can talk about old ideas, new patch, but also old strategies and, you know, not a modern setup to look for that.
Yeah.
You know, the mid-game Nidus is, I feel like, you know, we have it at least once a day if we're going to have a group of GSL. Am I wrong?
Maybe.
It's something that,
it's pretty common.
is in the toolkit to try to completely sideline mid-game for Protoss, and not having vision of that. I think especially with the Void Ray. Now, I didn't quite watch this part early on. Maybe the Void Ray was baited away somewhere, and that's why it was able to get in there. But honestly, like, you got to watch for that. Rough start here. Right now, Dark 1-0 versus Classic as we go to Glittering Ashes here for Game 2.
Yeah, hoping that Classic can pull it together here. A little bit unfortunate they didn't get that scout off, obviously. Yeah. But Dark with that killer instinct. So, leading right now. See if Classic can do it. Game number 2 starting up.
Game 2, go, go.
2022 GSL Season 1. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark. Alpha X, Classic.
So, what is Dark gonna do this game? I don't know. I definitely don't think it's going to be another Nidus network. I think, Dark is still the favorite here against Classic, but, even then, I don't think you do that twice. But, Dark is a player. He wins GSLs, and players like that tend to think about not just, their opponent or their group, but the entire tournament. So, a lot of times, strategies you can pull off, like that Nidus network we saw in Game 1. One of the nice things about that, if you're a championship player, is you're not really giving away anything else about the way you're approaching the game for other players that are watching who are trying to figure out how you're going to play.
Now, to be fair, Classic is a champion as well. This guy definitely does know how to win. And I kind of appreciate seeing the very first game here after the patch. He is going ahead and going for a Void Ray build, so he seems unperturbed.
Artos, I just realized I have your headset and you have mine. So
We normally do that, actually.
But I was actually fiddling with this dial the whole time, which was the volume. Was that messing with you?
Well, Tasteless, luckily for me, you never actually know which knobs are yours
it's the yellow
and which are
one.
not. And nothing changed for me. So whatever you turned did not even...
So wait, I'm just going to touch the same one I'm touching.
Yeah.
Does that change?
Oh my God, turn that back down. What are you... Tasteless is sound engineer.
So wait, okay, so this
GSL
one's
sound guy over here.
You've been like too loud in my ears this whole time, and I've just been trying to turn it down. I couldn't figure out what's going on here.
Well, now I'm just going to talk louder, Tasteless. How do you like that?
All right, it's good to be back, guys. Good to be back. Now, I don't know. I didn't listen to anything that you said before that because I was trying to figure out this thing underneath our table. What were you saying, Artosis?
It doesn't matter, Tasteless.
I had this thing in my head where occasionally, Artosis, like when you're just casting and I space out in my head, I just imagine you going, "Oh, Tasteless, oh," like that. And I come back, I'm like, "You're absolutely right, Dan. I couldn't agree more." And if you look at the supplies here, that really tells the story. I really do that too. I've done that for years in my head.
Yeah, I do believe you, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I don't doubt for a second that you do that, Tasteless. That's completely on brand for you.
It's a Void Ray again. A glitch in the Matrix, maybe?
Nah, dude, you know what? Here's the thing. Patches are just in your mind anyways. What does it matter?
Patches are really just a way of looking at life.
Yeah.
Now, it's Void Ray into Oracle. And again, my take on this is that it's basically just a control Void Ray where you're trying to like kill off stuff right around your base. I don't think we're going to have games where they mass Void Ray, and if they do, I mean, we'll talk about that when we get there, but basically a way to manage your side of the map.
Well, I mean, he was going for the +1 last time and 2 Stargate, and he might do that again here. Like, he just added a couple more gases. Yeah, there it is, +1. So he should be throwing down a second Stargate as well, unless this is a little bit of a bait, right? Okay, there it is. I was going to say, right, because he did go Void Ray last time, so once Warp Gate is done, if you start that air attacks, then Dark is going to think it's Void Ray, but then maybe it's not. It's one of Protoss's favorite moves, Taste.
Yeah,
This is
it's
fake
like,
out
is
with
it
the
or is it
cybernetic
not,
score.
you know? Flipping a coin and hoping that gets the wrong side.
All right, so coming in, a little bit of drone harassment here. 4 drones, not bad. Not bad, Tasteless.
Not bad indeed. You know, it's funny, we talked early on about things that may or may not be factors with the new patch, and so far, everything that we've kind of thought, and I'm sure a lot of people watching thought, so far hasn't been the case. You can still win with queens attacking your enemy in positions that are very strong, and you know, Mass Void Ray is apparently a thing. I said a few minutes ago, hey, if we get there, we'll talk about it. Well, we're already here, guys. Welcome. Thank you for waiting. It only took 2 games, one where the Protoss wasn't attacked with a Nidus all in.
Yeah. Well, there's still time for that, Tasteless. There's a Roach Horn coming
true.
in. Maybe it's a Roach Queen all in.
The layer's not done. Hold on.
Robo coming up, and like, I mean, it's a Void Ray opener. We'll see if he goes maybe directly into Disruptor from here. That's kind of my guess as to why he's getting the Robo right now. We'll see.
It is going to be a Nidus.
Yeah.
We keep saying things
Yeah,
aren't
dude.
going to happen, and they are. They are. Now, where is the Nidus going to be set up here? This is a little bit of a harder map to Nidus. There's not a...
Well, he's got a pylon on the edge of his main now. So Dark's going to see it and
Yeah.
be like, ah, phooey.
He's like, what a real gamer, and just has to let the Nidus stay. Just a butt, never a head.
Oh, dude, he tagged the Nidus.
Uh-oh.
And, I mean, a Disruptor is coming. You know, he might Nidus, like, outside the third, like,
No,
where
I think
that
he's
link
going
is
right
on
up
the
here
side.
with this overseer.
If he tries in the main, it's going to get shut down, I think. Where are the voids? Like, look. Oh, okay. So Classic has a good spread around. Oh, my God. Okay. Good. If he just, like, if that just goes up and he wins,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a champion right there.
So that's killed off, and this time all attacks easily parried on the side of Classic. The Nidus is then remade, this time adjacent to the entry of the natural. Woo, that was a bad click.
But Disruptors are coming out, so that makes it like much more holdable. Okay, gonna pull back for now. That one does open up. He did kill the Overseer behind his main, which is super important. And I believe we already have 1 Disruptor. There it is.
All right, nice connection. Where's your transfuse god now? Oh, never mind.
The other ones get to the creep first, and now he's just going to go back in. Oh, he's droning. He's getting +1 air attack. Okay. 7 shield batteries being made.
Yeah,
Wow.
8 Mutas coming here for the Zerg.
Yeah,
And just going to lean into that with the air attack upgrade here. It's interesting. The moment he realizes that Nidus play's not going to work, he doesn't even try to eke out any extra damage. He says, nope, I'm going to nope out of this attack.
Well, dude, he's got 79 drones.
I'm going to nope out of this, and I'm going to yup into the next phase of the game.
Totally.
It's good to be back, everybody. So mutas are going to be, it looks like, hitting the natural over here.
Well, he doesn't have good defense for it right now. He doesn't actually have any photon cannons in mineralized. So that is a bit of an issue. Plenty elsewhere. Okay, the Muta's going to get on top of these. Now, he did make a flea beacon, so he's going to drop down quite a bit there as far as the Void Ray count, but I'm sure he's making Phoenixes right now.
Okay, a lot of damage over here at the natural. Again, you know, there's Void Rays that are out there, not that fast. They can't quite get over there. Actually, a lot of damage here with these Lings surrounding these Disruptors.
Yeah, a few Phoenixes are coming out, and the batteries look like they'll keep everything else alive. So a grand total of 7 probes end up going down. Definitely some interrupted mining time and everything as well. Lots of Disruptor in there also. But you know what? Classic's taken a 4th base. He has, like, the thing is his army is very strange looking right now, right? He's got like 4 Disruptors and like 4 Void Rays and a handful of Phoenixes, right? He's getting Phoenix range. He doesn't have any gateway upgrades. It's a very weird army right now. It's like
It is.
it's
It's a
super
little
highly
wonky.
technical. Like he's made all these different units just to keep himself alive. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about that, Daces. It's just a weird looking army. It's not something that you're going to go attack with.
What I have to say is the Protoss's technology is much better than the other races. Back to you.
Well, you'd think that, but the hive is almost done, so no. Actually not. Anyway, look at this. He's still making the mutas.
All right.
And look, he's about to have the greater... I mean, not the greater spire. He's making a second spire, so obviously a greater spire is going to be on the way.
It's called the greatest spire at that point in time.
The greatest spire.
Yeah.
But let's see if he makes like a Viper. Maybe throw a parasitic bomb down on these Phoenixes. That would be kind of cool. You think that would be cool, Tasteless?
No. I think it'd be dumb.
Yeah.
No, I think it could be a possibility coming up here, Artosis. In all seriousness, Phoenixes are now being amassed. This is becoming, air fleet versus air fleet game, powering up. And, to what we mentioned earlier here, right, Queens can't transfuse off creep, but the Zerg's creep is already at almost half of the map here. Oh, nice Ling run by here. So we could end up in a situation where the Zerg can once again strong arm a fight into the mid game, or into the late game, I mean.
Muta's coming in now. Oh, they fly on top of an Archon. I guess they'll just pop that, not taking too much damage. Killed off a Disruptor there as well. The Lings ending up getting a decent amount there. Nidus attempts to go up in the main base. A lot of Corruptors being made. Phoenix Void Ray, still what Classic is producing.
Yeah, Zerg continuing to kind of position very well on the map. The Protoss can poke out like this, but you got to be careful. You don't know where the mutas are. If we could see just map vision for Protoss, that would really illustrate it here. You really have no idea where the mutas are going to be on the map, and that means they can, once you see where the Void Rays are, you can try to hit where they're not. With the Observer there, he does see these mutas coming over here just now.
Now,
oh
my
boy.
God, the amount of Lings that are actually just running into that main base. This is getting a little bit rough right now, I think.
Yeah, and, he can't take that fight at the third, but that's not even really the point. The whole idea is to destroy the infrastructure in the main, and even with the Void Rays then recalled over here, is it possible to then attack into the fourth?
Well, the Phoenixes, I think, can hold everything with batteries and cannons right now, but he's got to take care of these Lings in his main base. He's got to make sure, yeah, the Nidus didn't get to finish there, so that's good. He's trying to save these Stargates, like he needs his production still. This is a lot of pressure being put on by Dark, and it's pretty impressive because he has 83 drones behind it, so even though he's not necessarily always being efficient with these, he's, able to refill pretty quickly.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, he's in a position base-wise where growth isn't an issue, so he can kind of go blow for blow basically and keep the Protoss down overall. And even when he retreats, even when he lost a bunch of those mutas, he can still refill that pretty easily.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. He has double Spire just upgrades going right now. So he's getting +3 air attack. He's getting +1 flyer carapace. Obviously, these Phoenixes flying around, seeing what they can get done. They do have that range upgrade. But Ultralisks are being upgraded here as well, Tasteless. Chitinous plating going to be finishing up. Obviously, between the Corruptor and the Ultra, those Phoenixes not going to have much use. Dude. Protoss needs a door, man. Let's go back to that.
They need a door, dude.
That's the one thing that was really missing in this patch.
They need a moat as well, I think.
Yeah. They need a door. Okay, finally he puts a Zealot there.
And so now, we're still watching Classic kind of, hanging on with 4 bases here. As far as growth on the map, this hasn't really been a thing that's been happening for Protoss, but we now see the 5th base. As I finish that sentence, it's now being warped in.
Hey, here's a question, Tasteless.
Yes, Artosis.
As we watch these carriers just get absolutely demolished by a mass
Corruptor
Corruptor ball.
Again,
my God.
They can basically come in there, hit everything, and then back right back out here. Now he's going to come in here and try to counterattack with the Phoenixes. He can use the Nexus to try to recall this if the Corruptors can corner this. It's not going to be an easy catch, but eventually the Phoenixes are going to run out of map.
Well, even if they do, I think this is fine. Like, the Phoenixes don't scale well at this point. Like, he doesn't need them for anything. It's not like mutas are going to be made again, so you may as well be over here making them useful. Ultras are being made right now, so it's like going to be Ultraless Corruptor, which is kind of a funny composition. But yeah, what I wanted to mention is like Ultraless Speed was just finishing up when I was starting to say that before the carriers all popped. But why do we call it like Ultraless Speed, but then we call like Zealot Legs? Whereas it's a picture of a leg on the Ultraless upgrade. Shouldn't we call it Ultraless Legs?
That's a good question.
I'm pretty sick of Ultra Speed. Like,
well,
it's like, yeah, it makes them faster. Obviously, it's a leg upgrade.
Well, I do want to point out, I think the Zealot Legs thing is actually my fault because that's what I called it in Brood War without ever thinking about it.
Well,
and so it's one of these weird things.
We call it charge more than legs, you know, because they have the
But
charge.
I'm still calling it legs because I'm just used to saying that.
But can we call it Ultra Legs?
Yeah, we can do that. Ultra's legs are upgraded.
But like because it's Ultra and legs, it like kind of sounds corny, so maybe we should call it Super Duper Legs. Just really lean into it.
Call it running shoes. By the way, another attack over here. This is at the 5th, but you know the 4th is also at risk of taking a lot of damage. There's the transfuse chain.
Yeah, the Ultras trying to push back these Archons a little bit. The Archon's so important here. Some Zealots hitting a little bit of a counterattack. It's not a mining base right now, but always nice to take it down. Looks like this base not going to end up living for Classic. He is maxed out, though. Like, he's got an army that can fight still.
And he's got these Zealots that are going to come over here and try to hit this hatchery. Some Wings are going to come up here. He needs to basically decide, is he going to commit onto that hatchery or try to destroy the spine and the drones? And kind of surprised he's not actually targeting that down because these are eventually going to get fished away to some part of the map where there are Zerg units. And look, the Zerg can basically keep the Protoss on 4 bases forever and win that way. You don't have to actually kill them off. He already did enough damage early on that it's going to be hard to play it out from there. Now with the Corruptor count as high as it is, they basically just out-muscled the Protoss' heir. And I mean, yeah, sure, the 3 Archons, the Immortal, Stalker, and Zealot can win the ground fight, but they don't have a lot of staying power in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to like walk across the map and kill your opponent with 3 Archons. They do well here. The thing is, we've never seen a completed composition from Classic, even though he's been maxed out. And a big part of that is Dark has been running around switching his composition over and over and over, right? Like, he started off with the Nidus with Roach Queen. It got Disruptors out. He switched into Muta, which kind of drove, made Phoenixes made. Then he went into Corruptor. So that now you're like more Phoenixes and stuff like that. And then he went into Ultra, right? And he's kind of jumping all over the place.
Right.
And it's like the composition's like okay for Classic, especially if he's fighting against like mostly Ultra here. But it doesn't really look like a 20-minute I win the game comp, you know?
No, I mean, the Zerg I think would have to overextend over and over and over again, and even then I think it's kind of hard to imagine. Now the Zerg is getting stretched a little bit thin here, but I think the reality truly is that this game is, I think, not going to be going on for much longer if Dark basically plays a clean endgame here.
Yeah, but if he's attacking into, you know, 5-6 Immortals plus Archon plus Void Array with Mass Ultra, then that's somewhere where Classic's going to get pretty efficient. That is a lot of Ultras out on the map and a lot of Immortals as well.
Yeah, this may shift into more of a ground fight here.
I think so. But now time for some Broodlords, which is a great add-on right now.
Yeah,
you have all those Corruptors. Like, Broodlords are so good against Immortal Archon.
Yeah, nothing's worse than Immortal Archon against Broodlord.
Yeah.
And again, you know, the Protoss does not have the 5th base. I think the 3rd base is, I think, nearly mined out. Like, I think we're starting to have, like, gappy patches there.
The 4th base is almost mined out even.
Yeah, so, again, really what we want to watch for, and we can watch a million fights like this here or there, but what you really want to look for big picture is, can the Protoss actually get a 5th base up and keep it and, like, use it?
Well, I think the Broods are going to, you know, walk across the map in the sky
Yeah.
also known as Fly. And
They're going to
kill
fly
him.
walk over there.
Fly walk.
Yeah.
Like those shoes,
And then
airwalks,
they're gonna,
remember those?
And then they're going to heel kill them with broodlings.
Yeah, the Ultra's not trading so well against that army, but the Broodlords certainly will. As long as he has a little bit of anti-air here for those Voids. Classic trying to attack in. That is a lot of brutes.
And they're just going to come through onto the left side here. Now, this is pretty big. Like, let's say that Classic can kill this off and get away. That would be great. The problem is that we're watching this base slowly collapse. So all that Zerg has to do now is kill this Protoss Death Ball. And as scary as it looks, Supply says otherwise. 133 to a maxed out Zerg.
Yeah.
Again, all signs point to Zerg victory here. Probably within a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think the Broodlord defense is a bit too strong. Like, you just can't quite eliminate that. Even though the army supplies are similar, and the cost efficiency is probably higher here for the Protoss army, does any of that matter?
So Protoss goes back. I mean, the damage was done over here at the Zerg, but I think funding's still pretty good. So what Zerg needs to probably do next is just set up a strong attack. Now, if Protoss hangs on and defends this base, we're still in the game. The game will go on, but otherwise,
Can you see him doing
that's
that,
it.
though?
I don't think so.
No, there's like 11 Corruptors, 12 Broodlords. Yeah, some Tempests are
Oh
coming
man,
out, but
even his Link just sniping it.
I think Classic's pretty dead here. I like this move. It's a good move. Does a little kickflip there at the end. You know?
Okay, Protoss is going to try to push in, and I guess this is the only other play you can try. But again, I mean, these are just units that cannot beat Broodlings. The Broodlings just deal damage. The Broodlords remain untouched. GG. Dark wins 2-0. That's our first best of 3 for Group A.
Yep.
Our first best of 3 for the season and the year here for Code S. But I'll tell you what, man, Dark made it look like it could have been last year.
Yeah, plenty of Void Raids, plenty of Queens off creep.
Nidus is still win.
You know, yeah, I guess it didn't really look all that different, but
we ended it with Queen's transfusing. But again, Dark did fight for creep on the map that really allowed the Zerg to really have the opportunity to try to take fights that were too close to the Protoss' home. We can talk about late game, but I think a lot of that was also the Lings getting in there and destroying the Stargate infrastructure in the main as well.
that was
very important. Up next, guys, DRG versus Dream. We go to that after this commercial break.
There's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
MFL. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁은 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁은 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
Today's matchup. Dark. Classic. Match 1. DRG. Dream. Match 2. Africa TV Freak Up Studio Live. 2022 GSL Season 1 Cold Ass.
We're back at GSL, and we're ready for the second best of 3 in Group A. Dark did defeat Classic one game. Look, man, a straight-up mid-game cheese. Nidus Worm. Do I need to say more? And the second game did look like, a very standard, patch. In spite of the patch, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It did look like a pretty classic air fleet versus air fleet fight where Zerg was able to overpower the Protoss in the end, not just with unit composition, but with enough bases on the map. Now we go to a TVZ here. DRG versus Dream.
Yeah, this could be a really interesting one. DRG definitely still has a very strong Zerg versus Terran. I'm still secretly hoping that he can make another deep run. He did have that really great season where I think he lost to Rogue in the round of 8 or something. But yeah, he's been a little bit hit or miss, I guess is the right way to put it.
Sure.
Definitely has some weaknesses in each matchup. And this guy, Dream, he's been pretty damn good. As you can see, he's had some good seasons. He's gotten pretty deep and done pretty consistently well. His DBZ, I think, is pretty good, but it seems like he hits Rogue all the time, which is,
right.
That brings your win rate way down. Yeah, let's see what he's got here against DRG.
Yet, I mean, Dream's got a very modern style. DRG's actually brought out kind of an older Zerg style and made it work several times over.
Yeah.
I think just very mechanically clean overall.
Yeah.
I do feel like DRG is still a player that can approach the game in a new way or in an old way, and it still looks pretty good.
Whoa, where'd DRG go?
He's unburrowing.
Sorry, I don't have object permanence. I was like, oh no!
It's Dream versus an empty chair!
But yeah, I wonder if DRG is going to try to use that older style. Also, you know, I wonder if he's cleaned up some of the things that have hurt him before, like his dealing with Widowmine drops, that type of thing he's had a hard time with more recently. But definitely still has that macro skill for ZBT.
Yeah. And we're going to be hopping into this game one momentarily. It's going to be Hardware, Roughneck, and Blackburn for our 3 maps in this best of 3. And our game has now loaded up. Guys, this is game 1, DRG versus Dream. The winner faces off against Dark in the winner's match.
2022 GSL Season 1. Team MB, DRG.
All right.
Oh, already.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. Get another bottle of water and come back, and there's 2 barracks being made right here at the 9 o'clock spot on the mini map. It looks like it's just out of the vision range of the Overlord.
Yeah, the second
Should've
one might
worn
end
his
up seeing it,
glasses.
but it's going to be quite a bit later.
Right. 3 racks.
Oh boy. Okay, it will end up seeing it.
Yeah, it'll see it. You know, every second that you see it in advance helps. So.
Definitely very, very important. He's not going to be able to prevent any of them from being built or anything. It's not that quick of a scout, but at least he does see it now.
Okay, so he knows.
And he's going to veer away, so Dream's not actually going to know that he knows.
Yeah, that's important, man. Because Dream may be operating off the assumption that the drone scout is actually the moment of confirmation, and there's a little bit of a maybe 7-8 second gap in between there. The bunker starts.
Yeah, drone going to come back and can put some damage on that SCV at least. Now, DRG, let's see how hard he battles here. The spawning pool is about to finish. Ooh, doesn't quite save that drone, unfortunately.
Dude, okay.
Very, very important moment right there, canceling that first bunker.
Yeah. When the bunker finishes, it gets a lot harder to deal with the SCVs repairing, the Marines doing damage. And the drones are being pulled. I feel like Dream is actually almost doing a perfect job as far as execution here. Like,
it does look that way. We have Zerglings actually out now. The drone's coming up for this surround. He does have that spine coming up. Queen being made as well. This is a pretty good surround, but the bunker is going to finish.
Yes, it is. And one Marine is most certainly going to get inside. The second Marine, probably not.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. It does get in there.
What a solid hole.
Yeah, great
Really
job here
well
by
done.
DRG. All things considered, though, I mean, how many drones were actually killed off back there, though? I lost count. Three total.
And all 3 SCVs died. Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is pretty darn good for DRG. If this is like a 2-racks play, the transition out of it is so much easier here for Dream. But as is, he's going to have to continue to make these Marines while he figures out what to do at home with himself.
Yeah. It's funny because it started out so well for Dream. I mean, it really looked like his execution was spot on.
Yeah.
Now he can try to throw a command center down here.
Okay.
But, you know, it's really tough to make anything work with the 3 barracks on the mini-map after the attack hasn't really, you know, done that kind of damage, right? I mean, from here, you're actually almost more scared with your Marines. And he has to decide when does he want to send these barracks back home, or maybe just send 2 home and scout with 1.
Very, very annoying, this one Ling coming back. Another Ling does come up to join it, gonna get that SCV. Definitely DRG's got to be feeling good about his position right now, making a couple queens at home. Some Marines coming back to clean this all up. Still producing Marines out of those forward barracks.
So he never moved the barracks. You know, whenever I see this kind of stuff, I always think of Maru, you know, who did this so many times. But Maru had a little bit of a different approach. We would not ever really see Maru keep. Oh, okay, well that's why. We would not ever see Maru keep the barracks there. The idea was to shift gears as safely as possible. And what Dream's done is he's basically, it looked a little confusing, I think, to you guys at home as well for us, but he made a command center and then kept the barracks there. The command center was a red herring. And really, what's going to happen now is he's pulled the boys. All the boys are going to be coming here.
Yeah, all the drones coming down as well. 3 more spines being made. And here come the SCVs out into the front, so they're going to be able to tank quite a bit. The damage output of the Marines is super, super high here.
Yeah, he's got some transfuses there on the spines. The second spine finishes up. The drones come in here for a surround.
Wow.
This should actually force the Marines to spread their damage in a way that's not going to be that efficient. And I think that the Zerg is going to be fine. I think Dream has basically lost this game.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's enough damage there now. One of the spines being moved over to the side comes in as the reroute is happening, so definitely the best opportunity here. But the micro of DRG is solid. The defense is solid. GG is called. Yeah. All right. That was just a very solid play from DRG overall.
Yeah. Very cheesy play from Dream. I think a lot of cool ideas with it, but really like a perfect performance for DRG, shutting down Terran cheese scum.
Yeah.
But I do like the fake command center. I think that Dream was already kind of onto it, where he's like, "Your barracks are still there." That means that I really don't have to do anything other than make lings.
Yeah, I thought he would make like 6 Marines or so and then go home. But when he kept making it, I think DRG did read into it because he started 3 more spines.
Yeah. He knew what was going on, and you know, that was, I guess, not a bad attempt from Dream. Kind of trying to throw DRG off with that rush, but I think DRG's fundamentals are too good. They were always that good. I mean, that's a strategy we could have seen, you know, 9 years ago or so. And I think DRG still holds the same way. We go to Roughneck here.
All right, our first game on Roughneck.
I'd say maybe the best named map ever, you know.
What is a Roughneck? It's like, is it like a cowboy?
I think a Roughneck, yeah, it's like somebody who likes to roughhouse. Can it be, you know, likes to wrestle?
Likes to wrestle?
Let me look up
a
the
wrestler?
word. No, not a wrestler, but he might ask you to wrestle.
Oh, okay.
That's very different from wrestle, okay? Roughneck.
I feel like Roughneck, wasn't that like a company in a war or something?
Roughneck is a term for a person whose occupation is hard manual labor. Got it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, look at us. We're
So
totally...
the exact opposite of you and I.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why we don't know what the word is.
Yeah. Right, so we do have an SCV already up on the map. Proxy barracks
Making
play.
that barracks, that's probably a bit of a Roughneck SCV, if I had to say so.
Is that? Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah, it's manual labor.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't know what that term meant at all.
Well, there's ways that I don't think it's that.
I thought a
used
roughneck
of a
was
word.
like sort of a maybe like a redneck, but would, you know, you talk back to me to try to wrestle you, but turns out my whole wrestle joke has nothing to do with anything. I'm lost. I'm lost, Artosis.
Yeah.
You talk.
Okay. Well, TRG finds this right away. You know, obviously he held last time against 3 racks.
Yeah, let me tell you something. This is a great feeling for Dream right now.
Well, I mean, if you want to do this twice, I don't think that there's any complaining to be done, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if this is the way you're going to approach your series, you have every right to do that. But when he finds you both times, it's like, yes, okay, this is...
When the drone comes to your base, or not your base, your barracks, and you get spotted, you just go, yes, it's working.
Yeah, these...
Oh,
very cute.
Okay. I don't know about the surface area, but I think the drones barely do enough damage. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, good pullback there on the injured one as well. Brings more drones down.
But look at this. Now, I will say that's a cool usage of surface area. But the weird thing is now the Marines can't get up to defend this other bunker. Not that he's going to go attack.
Well, I guess when this one finishes, you can do the little load-unload, right? Pop them out on that side.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't...
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be working all that well. Like, I like the idea of utilizing that tiny little choke, but I think DRG just holds everything even easier than last time. But to be fair here, it's a 2 barracks proxy, so you can actually transition out of that a lot better.
Yeah, that is true. A 3 barracks, you know, you're really kind of stuck doing what you're doing, because if you try to transition out of it, they can just punish you too hard.
But he sent like at least 2 more SCVs or 3 more SCVs. So he had 4 to 5 SCVs on the map, so he kind of hurt his own economy quite a bit like that as well.
Right. And he floats both back instead of scouting with 1, but I guess this is, I don't know, we'll let this game stand on its own. I mean, there's got to be more than one way to do this.
I would hope so, yeah.
You know, there's actually only one way to do this. So now I'm really curious to see what DRG's follow-up is.
I think he's going to make drones for Wild Tasteless.
But I mean, after that, Artosis, where does the game go from there?
Maybe Zergling speed?
You're very brave as a caster.
A lair, perhaps?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, what I love about your casting, Artosis, is you say what the other casters won't. That the Zerg will go for Ling speed.
Yeah.
Now, again, you know, on paper, when we see Terrans do any kind of rush like that and the Zerg just doesn't really lose anything, you have to assume that the Zerg is going to be ahead, but it's always interesting to see how the player post-rush tries to, you know, get back in the saddle, so to speak. So, you know, in this game, we actually have another command center being made already.
Yeah, going up 3 command centers immediately, which is, you know, a pretty good follow-up. Like, if you... To make just 1, I think doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because you're just... The Zerg is going to fly by you, right? Here, you've already got some Marines out. You're kind of safe overall. You can be a little bit greedy. He is making a Viking here as well to push back some of these Overlords. Get some scouting done for him as well, maybe. Single Hellion on the map, but not going to find a way in right now.
Okay, you can see now Terran's still using the Hellion to try to spot, you know, is Zerg going to keep growing? What do they have in store exactly? That layer's almost done. I would guess we're going to see a Spire start up here in a second.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And there is that Spire. So DRG is going to get into what he is best at here, Lingbane Muta.
Yeah.
And that could be pretty tough for Dream to fight against, honestly.
Well, I think this is a good way to do this. I'm not just saying that because DRG is doing it, but in general, you know, Lingbane Muta, the whole idea is you try to take a fight. You get the Banelings to connect with really thick, juicy targets, i.e. the Marines on the ground. And if you win that a couple times, the Terran just really can't do anything. You kind of win. You win the game in the mid-game, and then you end the game a little bit later, if that makes sense. And so that's probably what we're seeing set up here now. And to be honest, man, I'm kind of bummed out that we didn't get to see how Dream would play in a more normal game. Because, like, look, okay, so the all-in doesn't work in game 1, fine, but I want to see what he looks like in a pretty standard play.
Oh, you mean just like completely standard opener? Some Hellions running around, that type of thing?
Yeah. Trying to push, you know, the back and forth.
This might turn into just a standard macro game here, but I do think that DRG is going to be feeling pretty on top of things, right? Like, he's getting into his mutas so quickly here, and in comparison to where Dream's at.
And, you know, honestly, I mean, if you're DRG, this is probably the ideal situation, is you shut down Cheese and then you have to play a game where you're pretty much ahead. Because those games, all you have to do is, like, keep checking all your boxes in macro and scouting and doing everything, and most likely you're going to take an attack.
Mutas are out. There are a few Banes around. Viking continues to clear things. The Spine is sitting here to kind of slow this incoming attack. A lot of creep being taken out. Muta's not turning around to chase those medevacs. Does have a lot of Lings in his main base to catch him, though.
So the Mutas have gathered up over here. And again, you know, he skipped on turrets. I understand it because you're trying to get ahead here, but this is one of the things that Mutas can do to punish that. I mean, you know, he's got the Marines. He's going to try to chase that around, but here's DRG taking another big jab at Dream here, and there's just not a whole lot Dream can do. And I'm not really blaming Dream for not having turrets, because again, if you make turrets, the Mutas can't do damage, but then your push is not going to be as strong. So, you know, let's say there was a world where DRG didn't go for the Mutas. I think that Dream might have had another opportunity to have a much stronger set, a much stronger macro phase, I guess is the term I'm trying to use. But it's not going to happen. And so he comes in there, he weakens him overall. 1-1's going to finish, and I think that really presses the Terran to do something.
Yeah.
So that something is happening right now. We've got the infantry ready to move out. Oh no.
This doesn't feel good. Like, Baneling's speed's about to finish, so even though he has a 2 upgrade advantage, which is normally huge in a situation like this, just the overall supply is so DRG favored. His economy is way, way better. His creep spread is good enough. The Muta's super active. This is, like, DRG's game to lose.
Yeah, no, I think there's almost no way DRG can lose this.
It would be a difficult one.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you stop them early on. Now, every opportunity you punish, you take it, and you don't ever need to overcommit, because, you know, the way that the whole rhythm of a game like this pans out for the Zerg, in this case, who's ahead, is that the Zerg can keep growing, and the Terran basically has to try to stop him. Now, that's what a normal ZVT sounds like as well, except this time the Zerg started out with a lead by holding the double proxy racks bunker play.
Yeah, the lead just has gotten so much better after the Mutalisk harassment as well. It's been very, very strong harassment. Tons of SCVs killed off. I mean, Dream recovers SCV count. 60's not bad.
Sure.
But he's down 20 supply against Lingbane Muta, which is, like, you don't get much more supply efficient than the Baneling.
No, I do not think you do, man. It is, dare I say, a good unit.
It's all right. Muta's pretty good, too.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, hey.
Mine's not too bad.
We need to bring the Brood War Scourge into the game, but make that also a Baneling. You thought splash damage was good on the ground, man. Wait till you see it in the air when they're clumped.
Craziness.
So, I don't know if Zerg wants to fully attack in here, but the supplies are getting to the point where the Zerg might just consider it.
All right, DRG taking out a mine there, being a little bit more on top of it now. The creep spread is getting pretty crazy. Throwing these rocks, using Banelings a little bit by accident. Drilling Claws on the way, some Thors being added in. Like, these are good tools. Are they going to be a little bit too late, though? Seems like DRG is in so much control.
Yeah, DRG setting up to press another attack in here. Now, we got to watch these Banes down here. They're going to go right by that Thor and towards the natural. The lift is late. The SCVs massacred, at least 11 of them. And the Zerg already remaxing out.
Yeah, DRG. I mean, he's got a lot of income right now. Tons of map control as well. Muta's rotating around towards the back of the natural. Looks like there is enough defense there. He burrows those mines. Drilling Claw's not quite ready.
And there is a fourth that's been up for a little bit now for Dream. We don't see an attack over there yet, but that is a point we probably want to draw some attention to on future fights, because, you know, the Zerg, again, still ahead right now, but Terran's steadily catching up. You know, is he going to be able to come down there and stop that? We do have the Zerg also taking this very, very remote base here in the bottom left.
Yeah. That one's pretty far out there.
Yeah.
I also see that, like, a lot of spines being made. Not sure exactly where they're at, but I think he's just starting to shore up defenses against possible medevacs coming out, right? Because the game is getting really big, and that's going to be... You're not going to notice if Dream is missing, you know, 10 supply that's flying around trying to kill drones. So I like that a lot. Oh,
damn,
my God!
It doesn't get better than that for mine attacks. That was insane.
Just crazy mines right there against those Banes. So DRG getting a bit wasteful here, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
A little bit of slop going on.
little slip
Little
slop.
pig pen.
little slop-a-bop. I can't believe he was that cavalier with the Banelings.
That cavalier. I like it. That cavalier on the map, roughneck. Lots of words today from the
Dude.
1800s.
Casters and their words! So he lost, like, I don't even know how much gas with those Banes. All the Bane has to do to succeed is to hit, you know, high-value targets, and it way pays for itself. But that's a moment where, like, it literally couldn't have been worse.
DRG, he's still max. He's still got great creep spread. He's still got a lot of bases, a lot of drones.
You know, map-wise, this kind of looks like Dark Classic, but I think Dream now in a better spot than Classic ever was.
Sorry, say that one more time?
So this map, you know, I mean, obviously it's a different matchup, but, you know, it kind of looks like the position Classic was in here, the one that Dream's in.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think Dream's actually in a better spot than Classic ever was.
Yeah, no, I thought that's what you said, and I was like, Classics.
I said slip, slop, beep, bop.
Yeah.
Try to pay attention.
No, it always makes sense. Okay, yeah, I kind of see what you mean there, right? He doesn't have that many bases. We'll see if he's able to get more. Oh, Dream, I mean, so cost efficient, right? You're really utilizing those rocks as well. The Baneling's going through almost single file. And Dream, I mean, he takes a bit of a supply lead there as far as Army for a moment. So many upgrades still being made here for DRG, getting ready for those Ultras as well. A Reaper on the way. Not exactly sure why.
He's going for a late-game Reaper.
Dude, I want this to not be a mistake. I don't want this to be like, you know how Zerg players always get like one Swarm host late game?
Yeah.
And when you ask them, they're like, yeah, no, it's just a misclick. I'm like, oh, everyone makes that exact same misclick with different hotkeys every game? No, no. Okay? It's some sort of dog whistle that non-Zerg players don't quite understand.
That's right. Something's
They're
going on
signaling
there.
each other.
What are they saying? Well, this time we have the Reaper. We're going to find out there was stuff that happened to the Reaper we didn't see in the patch notes. Can fire a nuke.
Watch, he's just going to throw a grenade to make Banes bounce everywhere. It's going to be great. Okay, this planetary, not long for this world. Going to be taken out very easily by this Mini-Ling Bane.
His Thor's quick, jump off the cliff into the water.
He does have turtle feet, so I mean, that could work. Might be a good swimmer, I don't know. I wish we had water.
Is it true that the Thor can breathe underwater?
It's a robot. I mean,
are you sure?
In Pacific Rim, those robots kind of, they could go underwater.
No, don't judge me. I thought I saw gills on the side of the Thor.
The whole final battle was underwater, in fact. Which is like kind of dumb because it makes everything slower.
Well, you forgot, Artos, this movie's not dumb. Don't you remember the dinosaurs were originally kaijus?
Yeah, no, the movie itself wasn't dumb, but having that last fight scene, the movie is great, Tasteless.
The movie's a work of art.
It's a work of art. Need more movies like that.
Well, Terran's still kind of hanging on here, and they've taken another base just to the north of this spot over here. But I will say, you know, DRG, he's still been ahead this whole time. He's taken some big wins here, like wiping out those 14 SCVs. But Dream continues to hang on. I do want to say, though, it does seem like now that we're getting to see like a game on this map that we're both casting, these exterior bases, I'm talking bottom left and top right, they feel really far away from the Terran no matter how you cut it, no matter which side of the map you spawn.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's not like you got another base nearby where you can have like a two-base defense with your army. So definitely a little bit difficult. A lot of Ling Bane coming in right now.
Again, not that efficient, but doesn't need to be. The command center goes down. Another 14 SCVs have been killed.
Yeah, look at this. Everything getting completely wiped. The Lings and Banes can't quite clear out these ghosts, but he does get the Liberators.
And what now? I mean, the ghosts can actually push out. The problem is I don't see Terran have any kind of sustained fight over here at the bottom left. The drop's going to be inbound. 2 spines here to answer that, although the drop could just go right over it and into the back. But, you know, again, when you get the creep spread out far enough, man, it's a pretty long journey and a pretty big ask for the Terran. And it also seems like the way this map is shaped, like in this case, with Zerg at the top left, Zerg gets the left side of the map kind of defaulted in the middle. They also seem to sort of default into the top right. It seems like in some ways this map exaggerates some of the issues in the matchup. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Well, it's always hard for a Terran to get outside of their quadrant.
Right.
And the thing is, the top right, bottom left, like you mentioned, are so far outside the quadrant that it just doesn't seem like a very Terran base. So, couldn't really disagree with that. The Muta's continuing to just wreak havoc here. I think Dream is basically running out of gas.
Well, it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous here, these attacks from DRG.
Yeah.
They just keep working and working and working. We basically just watched footage of Terran getting murdered for about 5 minutes here.
Yeah, and Dream had actually a pretty darn strong mid game, but DRG he got a bit too big, and this is what he does. Like, his macro is super on point. GG is called, and that is a 2-0 right there. Looks like we're gonna have a ZVZ winners match.
Yep, let's get the Zeds ready.
Get the Zeds ready.
Get your Zeds out.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the last letter in the alphabet. 2 times. 2 of them.
That's right. A matchup that everyone in StarCraft 2 has grown to love.
That's right. Finally, the other races are out of the way. Rough series here for Dream. You know, he did not... Some of this just goes back to the openers. I mean, when, you know, you commit with infrastructure adjacent to their base and it doesn't work. Yeah, you're not going to be in a good spot mid-game, and against somebody like DRG, you're probably not going to be in a safe spot late game. That's that. Up next, guys, the winners match to decide who goes to the next stage of the GSL. Coming up after the short break. Don't go away.
Lately it's looking like everything perfect. Out the mud with it, I put the work in. You can find me where that turf is. Pin precision like a surgeon. Bad ones used to curb me. Showing up to the show when the curve split. She know that I'm worth it. I'm finna go up, I'm aerial. I got the hit stash, got a bracelet for impact. Real tricky, quick to flip a pretty penny to a thick stack, quick stack. Think fast and I talk real. I give a fuck about how they feel. Me and Zay just dropped the propane and it sounded like massive pill. For my dog, I'ma ride to the wheels kill. Got his hand on the hammer, so keep it legit. I've been the man with the blueprint. I'm gonna stop till I own every brick. I used to lay out in the line just to feel the world spin on its axis. Now I got the access and the last laugh, got it out for the passion. I keep it 100 on the dash now that we got us some traction. Slick talker, I'm a showstopper, you are not solid. Tread cautious, couldn't go a mile in my toe boxes. Stun the shade with the Visine. Light it up to bring the vibe in. Lime tint, color spot beam on me. I'm a star every night lit, ultraviolet. Hey, I told her make sure that phone is on silent so we know what the vibe is. Take a look in my iris. I think she know that I'm high risk. I never know what the time is. I never know when my mind went. Hey, I got a lot on my plate. I got an eye on the prize, and I'ma make sure that we straight. Yeah. Look, it's a lot on my mind, and I got an eye on the prize, and I'ma make sure that we straight. I'ma make sure that, hey, I got a lot on my plate. I got an eye on the prize, and I'ma make sure that we straight. Yeah. Look, it's a lot on my mind, and I got an eye on the prize, and I'ma make sure that we straight. I'ma make sure that I used to toss a coin.
Call me when you call me when you call me when you call. I know you think that you know it all. You think I'm waiting on my phone for you. None of your games are believable. No, you don't even have a clue. Let me tell you, baby, you're just too juvenile. If it makes you crazy, you can't have me right now. Call me when you grow up. Call me when you know what's going on in your stupid mind. 'Cause I'm not looking for a scared little boy that's only gonna waste all my time. You can't even handle all your feelings. You ain't ready for a woman like me. Then you can call me when you grow up. Call me when you, call me when you, call me when you grow up. Call me when you grow up. Maybe 22 or 23, you'll be a little more capable to be seen with someone like me. But right now it's debatable. Let me tell you, baby, you're just too juvenile. If it makes you crazy, you can't have me right now. Call me when you grow up. Call me when you know what's going on in your stupid mind. 'Cause I'm not looking for a scared
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨
핫식스.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
집에서 게임만 하고 있어가지고 일어나서 밥 먹고 영양제 먹고 운동하고 게임하고 이렇게 살고 있습니다.
IM에서 이제 돌아와가지고 그냥 뭐 운동도 하고 술은 거기서 많이 마시고 왔기 때문에 술 안 마셨고요. 좀 시차 적응도 하고 뭐 PCR 검사도 하고 이랬던 것 같아요.
그냥 뭐 카토비체 대충 놀다가 왔는데 여기서 게임 준비해야겠다 연습 하고 있었어요.
그 장기전만 하지 않았다면 성주가 올라갔을 것 같긴 한데 언젠간 이런 날이 올 줄 알고 있었어요.
저도 그러니까 IM 있으면서도 진짜 궁금하게 됐어요. 아니 동원이가 어떻게 12강을 가지? 아니 나는 지금 1호로 탈락을 했는데 동원이가 12강 가네? 상대적 박탈감이 좀 심하게 와가지고
개인적으로 토스 선수들 좀 보면서 이렇게 배워서 GSL 예선 뚫어야지 하고 있었는데 좀 빨리 떨어지더라고요. 힘든 상황 같아요, 토스가. 폴란드 가서 느낀 게 저그가 너무 세더라고요. 토스들 징징은 이해가 됩니다. 저랑 후안, 령, 셋이서 헬스장 운동 많이 하고 갔다 오면 이제 로비에서 시끄러워요. 그러면 외국인들 술 먹고 있고 재선이 형도 외국인 되어 있고 막.
레이너 선수가 이제 최근에 벌크업이 됐기 때문에 저는 좀 오랫동안 이제 운동을 했단 말이에요. 그래서 아직까지는 그래도 할만하지 않을까.
제일 빨리 떨어져가지고 진짜 관광객 모드로 바꿔가지고 마인드를 혼자 산책도 다니고 뭐 이것저것 구경도 하고 좋은 경험이었어요 저는.
전역하고 방송 경기에서 한 번도 못 이겼는데 이번에는 이길 수 있을까? 쾌쾌 묵은 방법들은 과감히 버려라. 예전에 약간 영광을 버리고 다시 새롭게 시작해라 라는 말 같아가지고 열심히 하겠습니다.
제가 올해 부자가 될 수 있을까요? 다른 방도를 모색해 볼 필요가 있다는데요? 이거 뭔 소리야? 부자라라고?
그냥 은퇴 전에 프리미어급 대회를 한번 좀 우승할 수 있는지 꼭 해야 한다. 네가 한 노력이 아까워서라도 꼭 해야 된다. 이런 느낌일 수도 있겠네요. 규석이 미래는 어떨지. 당신의 직감을 믿어라. 그냥저냥 살아갈 것 같아요. 그게 제 직감입니다.
제가 이번에 어디까지 GSL 올라갈 수 있을까요? 염려하지 마라. 딱 제 지금 이 마인드랑 일치하는 것 같아요. 걱정을 하지 말자. 염려하지 말라는 게 딱 맞는 것 같아요.
IM 끝나고 와서 오니까 이제 GSL 바로 시작하니까 뭔가 늘 똑같이 대회하는 느낌이라서 딱히 새롭거나 그런 건 없는 것 같아요.
그냥. 이번 올해 한 해는 스트레스를 최대한 덜 받고 좀 게임 자체를 즐기면서 하고 싶어요.
미련한 걸 수도 있어요 제가. 안 되는 걸 뭐 붙잡고 있는 걸 수도 있는데 우선 해보고 싶어가지고.
근데 성욱이 군대 안 가요? 최근에 티어를 봤는데 제가 한 게 없다 보니까 다 티어더라고요. 군대에서 나라를 지키다 왔는데 사회에 적응할 수 있게 쉬운 대진이 나와야 되지 않나 싶었는데 오히려 어려운 대진이 나와가지고 이번에 좀 대진을 기대하고 있습니다.
Today's matchup. Dark. Classic. Match 1. DRG. Dream. Match 2. Africa TV Freak Up Studio Live. 2022 GSL Season 1 Code S.
I like that background we've got on the main stage.
Yeah, it is cool.
Very cool. I like our theme for this season. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. There is going to be a little hot six plug coming up here. So you're going to have our ugly mugs on camera in a second. But as soon as they're done with that, we're going to hop into the winner's match and decide which Zerg advances to the next phase of GSL.
Yeah. Of course, we'll have that elimination match, Classic versus Dream. And whoever wins that gets to play, well, probably DRG if we're being honest here. DRG is not as good as Zerg or Zerg as Dark is.
I think that DRG could put up a good fight, but I'm kind of on the same page as you, man. I can't really imagine Dark losing to DRG.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine there. We did see from the interview thing from that commercial break, though, that DRG still looking for a championship before retirement. When is he? Why retire? You know what I mean?
It's always interesting to me when pros say that they're going to retire because almost always they don't.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, especially in this day and age where it's not like run by KESPA teams or anything. There's not like a million young kids coming up that are better than you.
Well, not only that, but there's like multiple ways to do it now if you're a competitive player. I mean, you can do prize pools, but you can also stream. And I don't know. I mean, it seems to be especially a thing in Korea, by the way. Is sort of, you know, either announcing retirements and not doing it or retirement speculation where it's like, are you going to actually never play the game again? Is that what you're trying to say? Or what does this mean?
Yeah.
Because, and I'm totally serious about this. More often than not, we've had players either retire and then they're back like the next season, or they say they're going to retire and literally we see them a year or two and they're in a tournament.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's certainly
or they still stream the
happens.
game all the time.
Now, you know, there are some things to take into consideration, right? Like I'm sure that there are some sort of social pressures and stuff. Maybe you're not making as much money as you want to make in your 30s. Like DRG, just to put this in perspective, he's quite a bit older than Nest was when Nest won his last championship.
That's true.
So like DRG is
Nest
like
was 29.
He was 29, I think. 29 or 30. It was one or the other. Yeah, when he won a championship, or the last of his 3. And now DRG is like 31 or something. So, you know, obviously he's on that, you know, upper edge of oldness, but honestly, like, it's doable. Like, look at Daigo, man. Daigo's like 40 now.
Yeah.
And that guy is still a killer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That guy will stream his entire practice session labbing every day and then win the world championship. Yeah. Where it's like, oh,
this could be done in StarCraft as well.
Well, I don't know. This is probably going to be some weird stuff that we're going to be dealing with, or we more had to deal with early on, especially in StarCraft 2, where people were like, pro gamers have to stop at some point in time. Yeah. They've got to get a job and go to school. And then it's like, we all just keep getting older and keep doing this. And it's like, okay, look, man, maybe your parents made you feel bad for playing games, and maybe you feel like you got to do this, and if you don't want to do it anymore, you can. But there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of signs that say, like, you have to end this. Or especially for some of these StarCraft 2 guys, that you'd have to end this and not do something else. Or do something that you couldn't do something else and do this at the same time. Some of these guys are so good at StarCraft 2, they literally don't need to grind all day.
Yeah,
and lab out strats,
true.
And they can do other stuff. So
and honestly,
I've always been interested in that.
I think a lot of them don't super grind anymore. Like, it's the scene out here, like, is not as competitive as it was. There's not that many rising players. You know? And so I think that, you know, obviously they're practicing hard and everything, but it's not these 16-hour days that KESPA used to put everyone through.
Right. And so, you know, he wants to get it before retirement. I don't know what his retirement plans are, but he looked great in that game. Although, again, I worry a little bit for Dream here. Dream did like cheese, and it backfired. So I feel like we don't have a great handle on where DRG is at. If he really has, he has to be tested out all the way from start to finish, all the way from A to Z.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out now, head-to-head here. We're going to start this out on Hardwire for Map 1 in this best of 3 with DRG versus Dark.
2022 GSL Season 1. Team MB, DRG. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
All right, a couple hash firsts here. There's nothing too cheesy or aggressive to start us out with in this Cirque Berserk.
Look at that. Offline score, Dark 16 to GRG's 5. Oh, sorry, online score. Offline, they're 5-2.
It's all Legacy of the Void there. But Legacy of the Void at this
It's
point
all
is over
Lot
half
V,
of,
my friend.
it's over half of the history of StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, honestly, any stats from before then is like Stone Age at this point.
Oh, well, I
you
mean,
can't be taking stats from 7 years ago and pretending they mean anything.
So, like 7 years ago, you lost to this guy.
Yeah.
Literally every cell in my body is different from that moment.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I think that's technically not true, but it's close to true. It's very close to true.
It's close enough to true that we're just going to say it.
Yeah.
We're going to nod after we say it.
Yeah.
And just, you know.
I'm gonna look it up, Tasis.
I thought it was a 7-year period.
How long until all your cells are replaced?
Yeah.
All right, Jeeves, let me know.
My boy Jeeves
Every
is on
7 to 10 years.
All right, so I was right.
7 to 10 years, you're right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but not everybody tastes like maybe your cells, but my cells every 7 years.
Listen, I gotta tell you something. The one thing I know for a fact is my brain cells don't get replaced, okay? I am exactly the same person I was when I was 16.
By the way, no real deviations in builds just yet. Speed a little bit earlier here for Dark.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone makes that big plume of lings to show their aggression. Queen walking out here. Careful, she can't transfuse right there.
Easy, Queen. So we've got a Baneling's Nest made here as part of the wall-in right now for DRG. A lot more lings coming. Yeah.
So yeah, Dark is the one making a lot of lings.
It may matter in a little bit here because so many lings are coming down. 14 more lings already inbound. The Baneling's Nest started later, so basically he can call the bluff, so to speak, as the Baneling's Nest is about to finish.
Yeah, now they are rushing out. The Queen's getting pulled back. The hatchery is just going to have to be canceled.
Yeah, no, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, he gets the kill. He really gets out with no losses, other than maybe he made more lings than he needed to to get away with that. But pretty straightforward. So now it's 3 base to 2. And, once the Baneling's Nest finishes here for Dark, it's like Dark's kind of ahead in every metric. He is going to have more of a balancing act to try to cover for with the fact that he has a second and a third to defend.
It seems pretty obvious that DRG is going to need to counter, right? Like, you have to get up there and mix it up a little bit. But like you said, as the Banelings finish up, there's not much of a window. Now he's sitting here on a lot of Lings and Banes and 1 hatch down, 1 base down. Pretty bad situation here for DRG.
Okay, he's forced to back up there. Yeah, DRG already kind of tripped up right at the start. I think Dark showing a lot of confidence here coming in there. And here come the Banes, by the way. Instantly nukes 2 drones. Definitely worth. Roach Warren coming down now here for Dark.
Yeah, with that +1 carapace, I like it. Layer here on the way for DRG. Getting his own Roach Warren as well.
So how can DRG try to recover here? I thought for a second when I saw that many lings being made, he was going to try to commit to some kind of an attack, but he may just decide to try to play from a disadvantageous position here.
Yeah.
He is getting that missile attack. I think you mentioned that, Artosis, but
yeah,
you know, the Roach Warren's going to come, but I do feel like Dark is sort of just ahead here,
yeah,
no matter how you look at it. I mean, he's already got 14 Roaches coming. Armor in some ways is probably just going to pan out better with Ling Bane than missile attack.
Yeah. I think the armor is actually like a really good play here from Dark because it's going to kind of negate that +1 on the Roaches, right? And it's going to help everything he's got. So the Roaches can target down any Banes, and then the flood of Lings that come in are going to help out. He's just got more larva. So I think Dark has set himself up for a very nice attack here.
So the Roaches are coming down now. And, I mean, let's see what exactly DRG has here to try to help defend. I feel like DRG probably can hold this, but let's see. Some of these Baneling connects are going to be extremely important. He can target those Banes if they get too close to the Roaches.
Oh, this little surround with the Lings really help out. A little counterattack going down by DRG as well. The Banelings coming in for some connects here on the Queen Roach. Backs up into his spine. The spine does end up living here. Some transfusions going down as well, but it seems like Dark just has too much.
Yeah, I think he just overpowers here. The counterattack wasn't a bad idea, and honestly, even though it didn't do that much, it had the counterattack unit spin back here to defend. I think Dark still wins. Dark just knows the math too well.
Yeah, that was a great follow-up after forcing a cancel on the hatch. I think that was super cleanly played by Dark. And DRG, I mean, after he lost the hatch, there were not a lot of options for him, unfortunately.
No, I mean, it's not a complicated way that he lost, man. I mean, he basically tried to both have enough to defend over at his natural, and I don't know if that signaled to Dark, with the Baneling nest over there at the front, like, oh, okay, I'm going to try to turtle, I'm going to try to camp. But there was literally nothing defending that third hatch.
Yeah, nothing at all.
So it's like the Lings come there, he gets it, he's like, okay, thank you.
And it's such a huge victory there.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go to Glittering Ashes.
Yeah.
Let's see if we maybe get like a hardcore cheese. I have a feeling, Tasteless, we're going to be seeing like a 12 pool
You
here.
could be right, dude.
I really think so. I don't even know from who, but someone's going to do it. It's time.
Let's go to Glittering Ashes. Let's do this.
2022 GSL Season 1.
No, Overlords.
What are they doing?
Why aren't they 12 pool?
Team MB, DRG. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
All right. I hope that this is closer in mid-game, and when I say that, I guess we need to have no major interruptions in the early game, right? And I mean, look, that can happen a lot early on, but I want to see how DRG can, if he can hang with Dark, if Dark doesn't just, get the hatchery for free. But, people could roll their eyes like, oh, he just made Lings and killed the hatch. It's like, yeah, dude, that's why you need to defend that.
It's true. It's true.
Because if they just get your third hatchery in a ZVZ where they also take a third hatchery, you're behind by quite a lot.
I mean, denying a base like that in a mirror, it's your production, it's your mining, it's everything. It's the moon and the stars and the sun, It's just...
So, again, the builds so far have mirrored each other here. But let's wait and see. You know, when the opportunity shows itself, does anybody commit on Lings and the other side doesn't?
Yeah, generally we see that after the third hatch gets started, someone will oftentimes make quite a few Lings. Speed on the way here for Dark. DRG is... Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, what are we doing if we're not getting speed?
So Lings are going to just be inbound here on both sides, doing a little bit of scouting. Yeah, man, ZBZ, we got to watch those production tabs very carefully. It's good to have CodeS back, by the way, guys. It's quite the CodeS downtime here, almost half a year.
Yeah, no, it feels like it was a very long time ago that we had CodeS. We had a couple super tournaments in that time, of course.
Yeah, we had the super tournament studio time, but it wasn't until I really came in today. I'm like, gosh, I guess it really has been a while for this tournament.
That's indeed.
The StarCraft 2 Star League tournament to be here. This time it's DRG pumping Lings.
We have a Baneling Nest on the way here, and it's a few more Lings for Dark than what DRG had during the last game. So you should be a little bit more ready for some counterplay.
And just like in the last game, although the roles are reversed, there is a hatchery that could be the target for the mass Lings. So we want to watch carefully for that. So seeing these Lings coming out, that should force some more Lings out here. And actually Dark is going to run around.
Yeah, kind of interesting, isn't it? DRG chasing him down with a decent group of Lings. The rest of the Lings going for this counterattack. Right, Dark does have more play here, as you see. Brings up a couple Queens. Has his own Lings coming up as well. You have to turn and fight, and that buys a lot of time in these hatches.
Yeah, and see, that's how you hold a third hatchery.
Yes,
and that was a hatchery, you know, not that close to the natural here, but he got the Queens up there. Chased it away. I didn't see any counterattack play from DRG with his Lings to try to run into the main or really anything like that.
Evo's on the way now. A few extra Banes being made here. Looks like Dark gonna go with an attack on this third. Gonna pick off a couple drones, so that's kind of nice to start. Queen's coming down, some Banes are hatched as well, so they're coming as well. I gotta say, watching this, it just feels like Dark is just a bit better at the matchup. You know, he like blocks the attack very cleanly. Look at it. Look at what he's picking off here.
He just, that Baneling connection was insane. Here's two Banes coming down now. Oh my God, more Banes are coming up here now. The Queens are going to target. Ooh. He just runs right by.
Yeah.
Damages the drones. Damage is not the same as kill, man.
No, certainly
so it doesn't really do anything at all.
There's a couple of Lings still running around in that main base for a little bit. Not that many drone kills as of yet, but Dark has taken a 6-drone lead. DRG starting to catch up with that. One of the big things here is his 3 Queens against 1 in Dark's favor.
Yeah.
DRG retreating with those Lings, making some Banes of his own. Pulls those drones back.
Oh, this Queen is just not going to die. I would have just YOLO'd the Bane onto him, man.
And then it doesn't die still. You're like, oh, damn. I guess that's why they're the pro gamer Zerg players.
Oh, these Banes going from behind. Nice connection. And 22 more Lings are on the way. He's so funny, Artosis. 22 more Lings are on the way right now for Dark.
Well, you know, sometimes you see people like people that are just fans and don't really play, and they'll watch something and they'll be like, I would have had the force field down there. It's like, yeah, because you're sitting there staring at your army. This guy's macroing and harassing. Like,
this guy's doing a million things at once. Like,
yeah.
Now, this Bane's going to come in here from the side. A little detonation on those other Banes. And keep in mind right now, worker count, it's 49 to 54, a 5-worker lead. So Dark ahead, at least economically, but not by too much here.
Yeah, he's not like severely ahead, but he definitely is. Like everything has looked a bit better from him this game.
Sure.
Still kind of running around. I mean, there's still a little bit of play with the Ling Bane, but I mean, you're not too likely to find big damage at this point. I think it's really going to head towards a Roach game. Dark. Ooh, that was not a bad connection for his two Banes.
No, not at all. Oh, Dark just sends these Lings right up in here. He's going to try to make some Banes over here. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, my God. He notices the last second. Pulls him away.
Couple? Yeah, gets 2 there. Oh, this is the one that could be big. Look at this. Banelings everywhere. Dark relentless with these little Bane run-ins. Look at that. Okay, the drones, he does see it. I was going to say the drones see it. The drones are splitting themselves.
The drones are just screaming at DRG like, please, tell me to move. Yeah, he's like, you know what?
Not bad.
You. Uh-oh.
Look at this, man.
Dude, there are so many drones over here.
Yeah. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up.
The largest drone centipede in the world.
That's not a drone centipede, that's a drone millipede.
That's true. Spire, by the way, on the way here for DRG, although I'm worried these little jabs here and there with the Banes are starting to add up right now. 10 drones killed. Oh, he could actually go for that Spire. I guess not, he backs up.
Yeah, Dark right now making a lot of roaches to come across the map as well. He does have +1 range already done. He has roach speed about to finish. I think we just saw a cancel on the Spire there. No reason to at this point if your opponent sees it. But DRG is like down half the supply. This is from like basically just harassment. Now Dark gonna come up and finish. Really clearly stronger than DRG in this matchup.
He just blew him up, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dark was like a Baneling that doesn't die against DRG's Lings.
Yeah. Dark was like a Baneling that was just actually one punch killing and not exploding.
Yeah.
It was just like one giant Bane. Imagine the biggest Bane you've ever seen.
It's like an ultra-sized Bane.
Yeah.
With Dark's face on it.
Yeah.
But his face is like really small right in the middle of Ultra's head.
It's kind of almost haunting how small his face is compared to the body. Well, that's that. Dark moves on. We've got an interview now. Andy can't make it to the studio today, so we won't have the translations from him. It'll be ya boy.
Ya boy.
Ya boy.
Ya boy Tasteless.
It'll be ya gamer tassels.
이번 시즌 첫 번째 10강 진출자입니다. 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 박명수
So we have our
선수
first player advancing to the next round. Congratulations. Thank you.
첫 번째 10강 진출자가 됐습니다.
So we've got a new format. This is a new season. You're the first player. How do you feel?
4강만 하다가 20강을 이제 올해 처음
So
상상 이상으로 좀 어려운 것 같고.
it was always a round of 24 before.
20강에서 이론조가 나오면 안 된다고 생각하는데.
So it feels kind of weird to have a round of 20.
너무 어려워서
And
사실 오늘 좀 기대를 안 하고 왔어요. 근데 이렇게 좀
personally, I feel like my group was pretty tough, so I wasn't sure if I was going to make it out first or not, but I'm happy.
저저전 피지컬 또 움직임으로 압도했던 경기였는데요.
Let's talk about your micro and CVZ.
저저전 보여주셨는데 이 저저전에
It just was
대한
clearly
좀
better.
들어볼까요?
아니요 뭐
How does this compare to how you played in IEM?
딱히 뭐 그렇게 중요한 건 없고 사실
IBM, what am I saying?
레더 연습을 하면서
So I didn't put as much prep into ZVZ specifically today. I mostly just laddered to prep.
운영가면 좀 많이 힘들겠다는 생각을 해서
I was defeated by DRG actually.
승리의 요인이 된 것 같아요.
In Classic a lot. In ladder matches, I queued against them.
S급 저저전 박명수
So
선수에게
I prepped based off that experience.
남아 있게 된 걸까요?
아니요 사실은 좀
After
어렸으면 이겼을 것 같은데 5세트 때 이제 눈이 안
Oh, they're
보이다
talking
보니까
about there was a lot of ZVZs at IEM.
그래서 굉장히 좀 많이 슬펐던.
So anyways, when I played,
네. 자, 오늘
I
첫 경기였던
took that
프로토스전
match all the way to set 5.
나눠보겠습니다.
I was pretty tired.
밸런스 패치 이후
Felt like my eyes weren't
바로
working
나온
properly.
오프라인 경기였는데요.
That's why I
오늘
lost.
배불리는 우간 빌드의 땅굴 러시로 승리를 거뒀습니다. 점막 밖에서 여왕이 수혈을 못 쓰는 상황이기 때문에 너프를
So
했다,
you were a little
이렇게
greedy
이야기가
earlier. Use the
나오는데
Nidus play.
땅굴과 함께 하니까 너프가 느껴지지 않더라고요. 이
And it
밸런스
worked very well against
패치에 대해서
Protoss.
어떻게 생각하세요?
일단 큰 너프는 맞고요. 왜냐하면 경우의 수.
Recently we've had a balance patch as well. How are you feeling on the current patch?
원래 없는 빌드라고 생각하고 있어서 안 쓰고 있었는데 저한테는 딱히 뭐 타격이 없는 것 같아요.
나한테는 타격은
I have no
없지만
opinions on the current patch.
맞다. 그런데 프로토스 선수들은 이 공허 포격이나 배터리
I do feel like it's a bit of a nerf.
들이 사라졌기 때문에 사실 종족 중에서 가장 피해가 크다. 선택의 여지가 너무 줄었다 이렇게 어필하시는데 어떻게 생각하세요?
피해는 좀 봤어야 된다고 생각하고요. 여태 이제 그
They're talking about the current patch. You know, do you feel like the Zerg has
적은
been at the
너프가
most
아닌가.
disadvantaged
사실
because
뭐
of that?
블랙홀기가 미네랄이 너프된다 해서 그렇게 큰 너프는 아니라고 생각하고 가스 너프가 됐으면은 좀 컸다고 생각하는데 저는 뭐 그냥 똑같은 것 같아요.
Protoss have insisted there is a nerf for Protoss because of Void Rays, but as a Zerg,
IEM에서 프로토스가
I think this has more of an impact to Zerg.
그렇게 생각하시는 건가요?
저는 사실 그 결과가
We have a
이해가
larger disadvantage because of the patch.
이해가 안 되거든요. 사실 프로토스 선수들 이제 성욱이 형이나 준호 형이나 진짜 잘하는 선수가 많은데
They were asking why the results are always Zerg then.
어디서 없어졌더라고요.
I don't know why the Zergs are always winning. I think we have a lot of great Protosses.
4강이나 결승이나
So I don't know how we don't have more of the other races winning.
네. 자, 오늘 땅굴 여왕 올인인 척 심리전 후에 뮤탈리스트로 주도권을 잡는 아주 멋진 경기력 보여준
So it's always a disappointment that a lot more Crane Protosses don't make to the higher rounds of IEM.
자, 오늘 아까 10강 이야기 잠깐 해봤는데요.
Anyways, Dark, you showed a strong performance.
잘 맞으시나요?
You're in the round of 10.
아니요.
안 맞아요.
How do you?
저는
You're going to be playing the round robin. How do you have any thoughts?
걸 좋아해가지고
I don't really like it. The round robin format.
요즘 또 상한 평준화가 됐다 보니까 누구에게나 질 수 있다고 생각하고.
I prefer to have best of 5s or best of 7s with one player.
3판 이전 같은 경우는 그래서 저는 좀 안 좋아하는 방식인데
네.
뭐 최선을 다해봐야죠.
그렇군요. 밸런스 패치가 앞으로 이 스타트 이 판도에
So he says he'd rather have the other format.
불러올 거라고 혹시 보시나요?
아니요 똑같던데요. 연습할 때 해보니까 그냥 달라진 거 없이.
They were talking about
달라졌는데.
the meta and the balance patch later on.
네. 2022년 포인트를 차곡차곡
So it's pretty much going to be the same.
하는 박영우 선수 앞으로의 각오까지 마지막으로 들어보겠습니다.
이제 방식이 좀 바뀌다 보니까.
Any closing thoughts?
더 어려울 것 같은데.
Since we've
이번 시즌도
had some change in the format,
우승할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
I will do my very best to prepare hard, as hard as I can,
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
and I hope to do a better performance the next time. Well, thank you very much, and good luck to you. Okay, that's it. We've got one that's moved on. 3 more to go. Up next is the losers match. It's going to be a Terran versus Protoss. It's going to be the other races. Humans and aliens, Artosis.
Yay! Humans
Let's
and
do this.
aliens. Yeah, let's.
It's going to be all Predator 2 up next, my friend.
And then, of course, back to the bugs.
That's right.
But who will face them?
And then is it going to be
Classic
Aliens versus Predator? It's going to be Aliens 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's one of those two.
We know it's not going to be humans versus humans.
That's you and me in our next cast. Guys, we got a break. When we come back, the next match. Don't go away.
It's now or never, and when it's live or die, I'll live forever. Hey, yeah, I'll live forever. When it's live or die, I'll live forever. Show your teeth.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
아침엔 라떼 홀리 점심엔 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스.
아침엔 라떼 홀리 점심엔 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리
Today's matchup. Dark. Classic. Match 1. DRG. Dream. Match 2. Africa TV. Freak Up
Welcome
Studio
back,
Live.
everybody.
2022. GSL
Welcome back.
Season
I'm
1.
making our Tosis
Cold
laugh on break. We're having fun.
Oh God!
Our Tosis has his crazy
God.
Birdman laugh going.
Oh my God, Tastes! I have like tears, like my makeup's running. Oh,
Up next,
my eyes actually really hurt right
you're
now.
actually crying. You were laughing so hard,
Oh
guys.
my God!
Classic versus Dream is up next. These two guys fighting for their ability to survive and go up against the RG.
I'm sorry. Oh, you're just so funny.
We have a good
Tasteless.
time here.
Oh my God!
We have a
guys.
good time here
However
at
much
GSL.
fun we have on the cast, the
I know
commercials
they
are twice
say-
as good.
They say esports is supposed to be serious.
Oh,
They were wrong.
they were definitely
They
wrong.
were wrong. It's
Said
literally-
the guy's still casting StarCraft 2.
Guys, it's going to be Hardware, Curious Minds, and Glittering Ashes for our maps between these two. Classic versus Dream. Who do you think takes it, Artosis?
Oh, I think Classic takes it. Yeah. What about you, Tasteless?
I think Classic takes it too.
Okay,
All right, we
cool.
sorted that.
Can we talk about something else now, Tasteless?
Guys, let's go. Our best of three's ready.
GSL Season 1. Alpha X. Classic. Good Game Gaming. Dream.
All right, let's go.
Oh, Tasteless. Oh my God.
It's good to be back doing Codas, guys.
It really is. It is. It's feels right. Okay, so Dark has moved on. DRG awaits the loser, or the winner here, rather. We both think Classic's going to take it, but, you know, Dream actually is very good TVP.
Sure, and I also want to point out, I mean, he basically cheesed in the two TVZs. We don't really have a good feel of how he's going to play if the game's more ordinary.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, he plays a pretty in-your-face, micro-intensive, pressure-intensive TVP, generally speaking. In fact, look at this. Online, 16-18, Dream advantaged there. So that kind of shows you how strong he really is in this matchup, because once upon a time, Classic was the best PB tier in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Dream kind of one of the new age Terrans here, steadily improving. And let's see. We talked a lot about PvZ and the patch changes, and what may or may not entail with that. But what do you think about the new patch in this matchup, Artosis?
In this matchup, I think it's good because you're not going to kill your opponent with just like proxy Void Ray garbage anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Void Rays are nerfed and the proxy cannons are nerfed.
Oh,
or the proxy
batteries.
Batteries are nerfed. I find this interesting that he actually made the Zealot. You don't really see that,
Yeah.
To just make a Zealot. That's that's. I'm honestly not entirely sure why he chose to. Right? Like, the thing is, a Zealot early on, like, obviously, if you're being rushed or something, you definitely want it. It's not particularly great in this situation. It does not... In the early game, it's just not very microable, right? So, it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot unless you happen to be very aggressive. Maybe he knows that Dream likes to put the bunker down, and this can help a little bit because it's very tanky. I don't know.
I do like the fact that he gets the bunker up here. The moment he realizes that Reaper can pop inside and that this is already a headache for Classic, Dream throws down a third command center and an eBay. It basically says, nothing from me else early mid game. I am just going to power up. I'm going to macro up. And I like it. Now, Protoss is going for a Phoenix. And, I mean...
Might just be straight up a Phoenix opener,
Could be.
Wow, that
Nice
Reaper
catch.
was so wrecked.
I know.
There's a whole squad down there waiting for him. Should have stayed in the Protoss
A whole
base.
task force down there to take
Yeah.
out the worst Terran unit in the game.
Yeah.
All right, so the Phoenix is coming down now. And he'll at least be able to scout this, and having that confirmation, we'll see exactly how Classic wants to play this. Maybe Protoss wants to take a third base more quickly.
Well, it does look like he's probably going up into Colossus to go with these Phoenixes, which is pretty standard stuff. Excuse me, and yeah, just lots of Marine production at the moment.
Now, is there any way, I mean, because you're going to see that, it's going to be a macro play here. Even if you don't see the command center, you see the lack of anything else there, which kind of gives it away. Is there anything you think Protoss could do to try to punish this? Or should he just try to sit back and wait for the third CC to come down and maybe try to get it then? Punt it back up into the main?
Oh, you mean like moving
From the
out at that
Protoss'
point?
perspective, yeah.
Well, honestly, I think if you do a Phoenix opener that goes into Colossi, because almost all Phoenix openers do go into Colossi,
sure,
you have to play it a little bit more defensively, I think, right? I don't think it's a very good early attacking composition because you're kind of making so many tech units, and to walk across the map with that seems a little bit tough. So honestly, I think you go third Nexus, and then you macro up, you get into your Twilight, you start getting, whether it be charge, most likely charge first, and just kind of fill out your army before you're really going to move out at that point.
He's still roaming with the Phoenixes. I don't think he's going to find much to pick off here. I think the Marines are well placed enough, and it's never worth it to try to come in there and nab one Marine. You're going to drop a Phoenix.
Yeah, definitely not worth it. It's good to just kind of get some intel, right? See what's the production looking like? Is there anything out of the ordinary? Is there a new command center being started? That type of thing.
Now, it does seem like in this matchup, at least in the past, and I know we're in a new patch, but I don't think that this part of the matchup will necessarily change that much, is that the Terrans do seem to get more and more pressure to try to end the game the further along it gets, the more splash damage that the Protoss can get that will start to overlap, the more problems arise for the Terran. So we're talking about like Storm combined with Colossi shots or Disruptor shot. And it's not just an issue for Terran, and well, actually it is an issue specifically for Terran, but it's part of it. The reason why this is a problem is the way that the game pathing works together. Things kind of very fluidly move together like a blob or a chunk.
Yeah.
And so splash damage incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
In StarCraft 2, much more so even than in StarCraft 1.
And, you know, Terran kind of has to use a Bioforce, which is susceptible to Splash. And the three different forms of Splash that Protoss has, Psystorm, Colossi, and Disruptor, there's nothing that counters all of them. They all support each other really well. Like, literally, you can take any two, put them together, and they support each other extremely well.
Yeah, well, they all originate from different sources, right? The Colossi is just an attack. Storm is energy, and then the Disruptor is an ability that resets.
Yeah, and if you look at like the counters to each one, like if Vikings can counter Colossi, they're terrible against Disruptors and Psystorm.
Right.
EMP, great against you know, Psystorm, but obviously Colossi and Disruptors don't care about it, you know? So it's kind of like that. Now there is a second Stargate on the way, as well as +1 air attacks. We do have enhanced shockwaves coming up here for Dream. And here is one of the things that I'm really kind of watching for in this series, Tasteless, is which type of Terran is Dream going to be here today? Because I feel like there's two types. The type that thinks that it is possible to beat Protoss later in the game and will go into other units, and then the type that just stays on an army that can never actually fight the full ball. Protoss, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see, man.
Yeah. Like, does he go into, like, Liberators, let's say, right? Because that would be someone that is like, okay, we're going to make a composition that can actually win a fight, as opposed to one that just has to be mobile the whole time.
One thing to note on this map as well, it's a pretty tall map, you know? I mean, there's a lot of bases that are kind of easy for Protoss to take and basically stay back at, you know. And that may become an issue here for Terran inherently in the matchup. We've already seen, you know, in the few maps we've casted for this season that there may be some issues in late game for certain races at certain times.
Now, this is, like, he's got some EMP array. Like, we don't see it, but he does have a ghost in there. Does force a cancel here. Okay, that's nice. He's got to be careful with this set of units, though, right? Like, the two Colossi are going to deal a lot of damage over time here.
And not bad. I mean, forces a few things to restart. And, you know, I don't know how easily Terran can actually break down that base, but if you can at least stay on the offense, maybe you can start to really outgrow them behind this. But again, in the past, we've seen Terrans begin to struggle here, especially against a Protoss that is pretty graceful with the defense.
Yeah, it throws out the Disruption Ball, actually gets a really awesome hit right there. Nice EMP goes down on those Phoenixes, and this is not a very tanky army. It looks like Dream gonna run and kill off pretty much everything. And obviously you have to cancel all this here. A lot of probes have died as well.
Dream may be about to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose the Colossi, when you lose, you know, that core set, suddenly the infantry can basically, like this, just bum rush the Colossi. And, I mean, the Stalkers are going to warp in here. The battery, I mean, it's, you know, it's going to sustain for, you know, so long. I guess, to my shock at least, I thought one of those Colossi was going to die. It's still here.
Overcharge is pretty all right.
Yeah.
The Phoenixes actually end up helping out quite a bit here at the end as well. They picked off a lot of medevacs, picked up a lot of the heavier units as well. So it will be a hold for Classic, but I think Dream got a lot done there. He's way up in workers. Definitely has had map control. And the army that you're looking at from Classic that's walking across the map, I'm actually surprised is walking across the map, because this is an army that will scale well. But what you look at right there, like, that dies to anything, man. Two Colossi and like a bunch of
so brittle.
Yeah, it's you need to complete the composition.
You mean this
here.
box art army over here, Ortosis?
Yeah, this box art army, exactly.
Five Phoenixes, two carriers.
It needs an Archon in there to really be as box art as it
with
can
one
get.
Templar to the side.
Yeah. A DT on the front lines, even though that never happens.
Commanding them. Well, you know, the first attack was a big success, and at this point in time, you know, the Terran army, it's girthy enough. It's able to start to really take some fights. The Colossi have been remade. It's 3 now, I think?
Yeah, I think he's got 3 with a 4th one being made even. One thing I want to point out, though, like, we have 2-2 for Terran and no gateway upgrades here for Protoss. So Classic is definitely, like, just focusing on Robo Stargate, right? So that is definitely something that can scale, like, really, really well. But Dream is prepping. Like, he's making Vikings, he's getting +1 air attacks. And obviously, if you have a really good force of Vikings here, you have some EMPs, you have some Marines to help cover. Like, Vikings hit everything there.
Sure. I kind of like the building placement here. It's a little bit of obstructions here to try to draw fire away. All you need to do is have a few volleys come out of those Colossi, and you're going to greatly whittle down that army. Now, I think that Dream still has kind of the right idea. He's starting to break off chunks of his army and send them off in different directions. And, you know, one of the great ways to deal with a death ball is to almost not deal with it at all and attack in locations where the death ball can't really defend. So he's hitting up here. He's going to back out once the Colossi shots come in. But meanwhile, up here at the top, this other army's hitting. And now he's going to start to spread the defenses here of Classic pretty thin.
Dude, look at this wild battle that we're seeing. The flank of Dream coming in right now. Battery's keeping him kind of in it. Does lose that Nexus there. Looks like the last Phoenixes may end up getting picked off here. The Colossi coming up to clean everything, though. Dude, he's literally just going Colossi carrier. I feel like what we're seeing, the Classic's using a little kid's army.
Yeah, it's like when you're, you know, you first got the game and you're a little kid and you're like, well, I want to make the Spider Walkers.
Yeah.
And then the carriers.
And also, you play on the maps that have unlimited money because you want to be able to build all the cool units and keep them all together in your army. But that's where Classic is having a hard time because he can't get his fourth base up, well, because he's only making the cool units.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, like, I think he just doesn't quite have the funding without a functional fourth base to fill this in with some gateway units. But you do need those gateway units to kind of sponge up damage.
He's not even upgrading them, you know? So, like, definitely they help, and I would like to see them in here, but, like, his vision is just like Colossi carrier.
Right.
Which is so weird, but, I mean, I kind of want it to work. I want to see what this looks like. Unfortunately for him, though, that's a lot of Vikings. I think this is going to be game.
Yeah, this is over for sure. Dream takes game one, makes it look easy. GG.
All right. I mean, well done from Dream.
Sure.
Classic. He was really trying hard to get that fourth base up. Wasn't quite able to do it. He made it, like, it was a strange strat, right? Like, he made a lot of Phoenixes after he got his Colossi going. I don't mind adding some Phoenixes in there. They're good against drops. They're just helpful in general. I wouldn't have minded if he had maybe added some cannons in, not just shield batteries, things like that, right?
Sure.
Like you need the tankiness, you need some damage output there as well. I don't know. I want to see more of it. I want to see more of this strat. I hope that he does it again, honestly.
Let's go to Curious Minds for your Curious Mind, Artosis.
That's what they call me.
That's what they call you. Map 2, man. Classic versus Dream. The fight continues on again. Classic loses here. It's kind of weird to say, but he would be the first player eliminated in the whole GSL to start the year off.
He actually hasn't won a match since he got back.
No.
It's kind of crazy.
2022 GSL Season 1. Alpha X Classic. Good Game Gaming. Dream.
I find it interesting for a lot of reasons. It's not even exactly Classic's skill set, I would say. Not that he's not a complete player, but the style that he generally in the past has had the most success with in Protoss vs. Terran is a much more active style, more gateway intensive, less robo intensive. So it's interesting to see him try something like that is just so completely teched out, end of the tech tree, you know, just...
Well, the problem whenever you have stuff that's super tech heavy, and I mean, this is, you know, I think especially true for Protoss, but it is true for the other races, is like Colossus Carrier, if you lose a couple of those in a fight, it takes a long time to remake it. You know, with Terran, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs are pretty constant through the whole game.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you drop, let's say, 2 Colossus or 2 Carriers or whatever the combination is, in that amount of time that 1 more Colossus comes out of your 1 Robo, they've already made enough that they're most likely going to have the angling to just surround you.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it does seem like there's a bit of a burden on the Protoss to try to, like, really not lose that balance. But that's always sort of been a thing with Protoss, is, like, they really need to have the right set of units.
Yes, for sure.
And each of those units does require sometimes a bit of tech focus in order to get it out.
Yeah, unless you're way ahead of as Protoss, you need a lot of technicality in your army.
Right.
And as soon as that starts to get reduced, you lose a lot of power. It's actually, what he was doing is a lot like a Protoss mech build, right?
Right.
Where, like, in small numbers, it's incredibly vulnerable, and then in really big numbers, you're like, oh, what even beats this? You have to really kind of theory craft at that point, right? Like, if he hits the army he's looking for there, which it looked like was just like a lot of Carriers and Colossi, it's like, well, that's the army that you walk around the map and kill 7 computers with because you're playing on infinite money map.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the army you mass up in the campaign, and then you're like, okay, I've got 15 of these things.
Yeah.
Let's just start to A-click across the map. It's the Stargate opening again for Classic.
Yeah, let's see if he goes Phoenix again. I think he probably will, and it doesn't have to be the same build.
This is so weird that he might just get knocked out of GSL right away.
Yeah, I'm looking for him to have a good year, and he could start that here. Like, I don't think it's impossible for him to get out of this group.
I kind of thought he was a realistic candidate to be competitive, but I would have thought if he gets knocked out, it would have been super close, but so far it hasn't really been at all.
No, not too much.
And I thought, you know, especially with how Dream looked, and again, I know those games were 2 all-ins, but I thought, you know, maybe that all-in play was a sign of desperation. I feel like Classic is more intimidating than DRG. And so when I saw him do that, I thought, well, maybe he's not ready at all for this group. But then he's looking great right now against Classic, so.
Well, this was a very nice cleanup there.
Mm-hmm. Makes me question ever attacking across the map with those Marines like that.
Dude, he has the Zealot again, by the way. Really interesting. I do...
Maybe there's some kind of rush people are doing, and the Zealot sort of...
It could be.
You know, just makes that not happen. This can happen where a build looks weird, and it's like, oh, well, there's a build on the ladder that everybody's doing, and it cheeses you out. But if you have this one unit that can't do it, and then so it doesn't look like it has any kind of role, it looks like it's almost a kind of weird expense in the build order until you realize it stopped something that could be brutal.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right that there's something in there that Classic doesn't like that helps against. And he has, stylistically in the past, had things like this that other Protoss players don't do. Like there was, back when Whirlwind was still a map, remember that map? It was our last 4-player that was really commonly used. But like for instance, back in that era, I remember he would make 2 Void Rays like every game against Terran. And they would basically be on medevac duty. You know, they kind of sit on the edges and look for that. And that was kind of an interesting thing that he did that other Protosses really weren't into. So might be something like that. Now, this build right now looks exactly the same. 3 Phoenixes into Colossi with range, getting ready to take his additional base. Looks exactly the same as the previous game.
Well, let's see if the results are going to be exactly the same here, because
I hope not.
I do think a part of Dream's success here was that he was very good at fracturing parts of his army off and kind of attacking weak points.
He's got the double shield battery set up at the 3rd. He's got, an Immortal sitting there. Nice. Couple medevacs on the way. First Colossi is out. The army is not looking bad. Their command center on location here. I think with that 3rd CC on location, that kind of signals to us that Dream is pretty aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Phoenix comps in general don't attack early.
No.
It's just they don't. They just don't.
Well, I think they have 2 great purposes. One is that, you're able to be safe against drops, but also you can scout very, very easily. So I think this is a great catch, by the way. You just get 1 medevac.
Yeah.
Especially against the splash damage play that's going to be inbound later on.
That's
amazing. That medevac. Oh! Artosis, Artosis, Artosis.
Well, he saves the other ones. They're pretty badly damaged, but yeah, the one medvac kill is actually gigantic. Gonna remake that Phoenix, but in ghost form. Send that across the map. +1 air attacks on the way. So, yeah, I think he's doing exactly the same thing. I'm really looking forward to learning more about what Classic is trying to do here.
Yeah, I mean, the question is it going to work long enough that we can kind of see it pan out? I guess the ideas are pretty straightforward, right? You get enough splash, like we said before. It's just that he's rushing into it, and the Phoenixes, you know, maybe one of the things about, you know, Widowmine drops and all this other stuff that's been a headache is the Phoenixes kind of make that actually not only defendable, but easy.
Second Stargate, should be seeing a fleet beacon here. More Phoenixes popping out. More shield batteries. It's really interesting to watch him do this, because he's just like making more and more static D. Stuff like this was more common before Legacy of the Void, and then stuff like this kind of got phased out a little bit because you just don't have as much income on any of these bases, right? So to sit there for this long on fewer bases turtling, making, you know, turtly buildings like cannons, and I mean obviously nowadays we have shield batteries as well.
And, yeah.
It's a harder thing to make work.
Ooh. Ooh. Is he gonna go for it?
There might be a big punish if he does.
So if he goes in here in spite of Phoenixes being out, this is going to cause a recall. That could be part of the plan, though. Oh, he can actually target down this Colossus.
Okay, he gets a Colossus, but he's going to lose, like, every medevac.
Yeah, it turns out batteries healing each other the best line of defense over here.
Okay, he does use the overcharge here, so the Immortal will buy a little bit of time, but I mean, he needs to save the Nexus. That's kind of the main thing here, I think.
Oh my God, that Immortal lived. Look at this.
Dude, that
ant farm maze that they have to move through to get to where they need to be.
Oh boy.
Oh
my God.
There's a lot of Protoss stuff just almost dying this game and then not.
Yeah.
Well, you know, overextending. It's one very easy way to lose, and I don't see any way that Terran can now stop the counterattack, man.
It is a little bit scary at this point.
Too many Phoenixes in the air. There's
You're
too
right.
many Colossi on the ground. It's like, well, this is just it. But I think a lot of this comes down to that big drop in the main. Like, why do that?
Yeah, against mass Phoenix.
And it's funny because, like, he's like, aha, I'm just going to sneak by the Phoenixes. And he does. And he's like, well, now you're stuck in his base.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he was going to lose everything. I guess he... Maybe if he kills the third there and gets out or something, but then he doesn't kill that, even though the Colossi passed really terribly back to the third, he still saved it. So it didn't seem like there was like a lot of potential for that anyways. All right, now Classic going to back up. He definitely did good damage on that counter. Dream does have more workers, so he can, I mean, on 80 workers, you can easily supply 4 base.
Yeah, no, I don't know how Dream recovers. I mean, Carrier's already coming out, and this time there are plenty of Colossi in the game. What, there's 5 total now?
Yeah, it's a lot better than the last time for him. He's throwing down a lot of extra cannons as well.
And, I mean, this is a pretty puny army, I think, from Terran.
Yeah, you got to pull back. Like, you just can't fight that.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see what Classic's idea was this whole time, because we're looking at Dream kind of has the same type of army he had last game. We haven't seen the air attack start yet. I think we probably will. But it just doesn't look like he can take any fight against this. And now I think Classic is going to kind of slowly but surely just push out taking bases.
Now, you know, one thing to keep in mind is that this army from Protoss, it's not very nimble. So, like, he can orbit 4 bases, no problem with this, and he's fine. But at the same time, like, if it's the Protoss' time to attack across the map, it does seem like Terran could set up a counterattack that Phoenixes alone can't, you know, save. Now, we already saw this once, but we're going to see it again. It's the 4 medevacs, this time 4 instead of 3, running up into the main. He's scanning, and he's trying to draw attention over here so that this can medevac boost up into the main.
Disruptors being added in. You know, what's the carrier count exactly right now? It's not very high yet.
Right. It's
Phoenixes do run into this. I mean, they put some damage on the medevacs. Okay, 3 carriers. Like, you're going to clear this pretty well with the carriers. I like the mine.
And then there's just not enough here.
Oh my god.
Okay, it's War of the Worlds over here. I don't feel like Terran can recover from this. Look at this.
Kills
like,
one carrier? That's going to be it, though.
Okay, I don't know how Terran can win now. I mean, granted, Dream still has lots of bases.
Yeah.
You know, he's not, just because he's losing his army doesn't mean he's going to lose the game, but again, the Protoss is now, what, still on 4 base, but looking strong.
I think there's a little bit of potential. It definitely looks scary. This looks like such a hard army to engage. But if he continues to use mobility and continues to expand, I could see maybe figuring out a way to do this as Dream. Like you have to build up your Viking count quite a bit and just roll through everything eventually, but you have to keep Protoss on his side of the map during that, which is what's not occurring right here. I feel like he needs to kind of be everywhere on the map right now. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be hitting somewhere consistently while building the Viking count. It's like, I think that a victory here for Terran is very tactics driven.
Okay,
look at that army, man. Oh my god. Corruptors would have a field day with that army.
Corruptors' mouths are watering right now looking at this. Okay, he's going to come in here. I don't know how Terran even gets close to that.
He needs temples.
Oh, 13 SCVs. You know, this really goes to show you just how much the Terran has to be careful early on. Okay, but these Vikings are actually going crazy.
Yeah, EMP plus Viking, not bad. He's doing a good job there. There are a few Stalkers that have been added in. There are a few more Phoenixes coming to join.
Can he try to zone him out over here?
Huh. Classic taking top right. I think Dream is playing really well, man.
Yeah, well, even after some screw-ups with his engagements, I mean, he's showing a lot of patience. He knew to pull that base off, take the SCVs out, and wait for a better position.
It's a nice forced cancel here on the left side, and now he's on 2 different locations, right? And it is very much a death ball composition he's up against, so that's... If he's very much on top of everything, this could go well for him. So here comes a big attack. You're going to force a recall here if he wants to save it.
Yeah, but he could probably get that Nexus in time, right?
Yeah, and he can't even recall. I mean,
that's right.
Going down and everything, that's it. Down goes the Nexus.
Goodbye.
Now, Dream is down in supply right now.
His
army does evaporate rather quickly.
Well, it looks like this base at the top right is going to get hit.
Oh, sick EMPs go down.
Yeah, actually crazy. And so many Vikings, dude.
Yeah.
Are there actually more Vikings than Phoenixes here?
It
looks like with the carriers, never mind.
Yeah, and 4 more Phoenixes coming up now. So the Vikings, everything is going to be absolutely wrecked. Oh my god.
Yeah, just massacres this. The Terran base is just a screen size away, so he can go right down there. Dream's going to have to lift this off, excuse me.
And Dream is trying to expand to the bottom left now. Doesn't really have an army to speak of. I think we're going to be going to Game 3 finally tonight.
Yeah, he's going to keep pushing up here. This is definitely going to Game 3. I mean, I don't think there's any way Dream can recover. I think he had a cool denial on that base, and it looked like, you know, maybe Protoss is going to be pressed, but you have to make sure that when you get those wins, you get out with that army. And I just don't think he was quite able to do that. And so now, without the threat of counterattacks, the death ball for Protoss can basically angle its way through the natural and then eventually up into the main. And then there's just no way for the Terran to win.
Yeah, the Viking count seems like it just was not quite high enough. The Phoenixes, despite the EMP going off, ended up defeating them. And you can't even make Vikings now. There's 17 Phoenixes here. And suddenly this composition just looks so ridiculous.
Yeah. And again, can't let him get this far. Classic wins that, and it's going to be the next game to decide who gets knocked out first here. But that was a much better game from him. I'm glad to see the Classic can still bring it. We see the ideas coming to fruition here with how he's approaching it. He wants to have enough splash and enough anti-air that basically the Terran can never full-on fight it.
Yeah.
And it becomes kind of an avoidance play from the Terran, and all the Terran has to do is overcommit once or twice. The Protoss says, thank you, and goes straight to where the origin point of all incoming units are, the Terran's main, and wins.
Well, I think that we definitely saw the power that Classic can bring to the table with the strat, but I think the mistake was there for Dream rather than the brilliance for Classic. Like that drop into the main base where everything got wiped and then he didn't kill the third. And it's like, okay, you just gave way too much army, and that gave Classic all the room he needed to get into that full composition. I think if he doesn't waste like that, he can beat him in the same type of game again.
Glittering Ashes for map 3. Classic versus Dream. If Classic can do it again, he's going to move on. Dream probably needs to have a little bit cleaner early game if it's going to be a game like that last one. Anyways, Glittering Ashes, let's go.
2022 GSL Season 1. Alpha X Classic. Good Game Gaming. Dream.
All right.
I'm excited about this game 3 to see the corrections that are going to be put into place. Because I think Classic's going to do the same thing again.
We had a couple one-sided games so far here for Group A.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's good to have finally a back and forth with somebody here.
Yeah. Well, that happens a lot, though, in the first round of GSL Code S.
Sure.
Generally, there are some imbalances, although this group is, like, relatively close aside from Dark, right? Like, Dark is a guy that you actually are like, okay, he's one of the 3 guys that's going to win this tournament. It's like Dark, Rogue, and Maru are kind of the guys where it's like, well, I mean, one of them's going to win, right? It would be really weird otherwise.
And so, I mean, you know, with just these 3 guys remaining, I still think anybody could get out. DRG did look very strong against Classic. Classic definitely kind of committing to these air comps later on.
Yeah, I would agree everyone can get out. I think as long as Dream doesn't proxy Rax DRG again, you know, let's pull the plug on those. Let's play some normal games. But yeah, I honestly, I do think that Dream's going to be able to take this. It looks like we have the Zealot out again. Going to try the bunker. I don't think that's going to work since the Zealot's going to walk over.
No, I feel like you can't recycle this into this every time.
Yeah.
But he tries anyways.
I mean, the Zealot isn't very common, so you probably get that up a lot.
Now here's the Reaper with his dual pistols. What a lame guy.
I know.
There's nothing less cool than dual pistols, right?
I loved them in Counter-Strike, man, honestly.
You're so bad, Artos. You're so bad.
I'm aware, Tasteless. Wow, Tasteless, you know that dual pistols are bad? Wow, you're so good, Tasteless. You're so good.
Gamer. Okay.
You don't feel cooler with 2 pistols?
No. I feel cooler with
Did you just not have a childhood?
With any sniper rifle that's not the most expensive one but fires faster. That's where I put my sunglasses on.
Yeah.
So, he's like, all right, can I come in? No? Okay, cool.
I like that
no problem.
He's watching. Oh, man.
Robo, I mean, this is his build, man. This is the PvT opening.
Yeah, so, I mean, the 3rd command center is in the main base already being turned into an orbital. So he's going to be able to get his economy going very nicely.
Right. And I think no side should have any kind of pronounced place for the next couple of minutes here. I don't think anybody wants to really attack and do anything. They're both trying to assemble what they need into the mid game. So we're going to have a pretty straight up game to start things off.
Yeah. But you know, obviously Classic is making little adjustments to how Dream is playing, but Classic's style is far enough from Standard that I feel like Dream is learning more each and every game. I feel like right now I have like 10 reasons why Dream is going to win and 2 why Classic's going to win. You know what I mean?
And the ones that for Classic winning, you're like, well, here's what happens when a bunch of Colossus are together.
Yeah.
And the other one's like a video of Phoenixes shooting down Medivacs as they try to unload slowly.
Exactly. Those are the Classic wins this situations.
Yeah.
But we'll see if Dream is actually able to capitalize, right? Like, if the thing is, you're going to have to pull the trigger at some point because Classic ain't attacking you. Right, like he can do a little move like this, but this is not an attack. What is it that Artos is attacking? It's an attack. Shut up. So annoying.
They got you, Artosis.
Yeah.
So here's that third base. Everything, you know, mirroring what Classic did earlier. Thermal Lance inbound here. Terra going to float that CC very soon over to the third base.
Yeah. Third Nexus is going to be finishing up here as well. Worker count, very healthy on both sides.
And, you know, the real reason why Dream lost Game 1, honestly, is... I'm sorry, Dream won Game 1. Honestly, is just that Classic's Colossi got clipped. He lost 2. And when you lose a couple of those, especially when you're just getting started with the whole amassing of Colossi and Carrier, you need to have the first couple there because they're the only thing that are letting you make the other ones.
Yeah.
Because of the order in which you're teching. Because you didn't really tech into a large, you know, ground army of Zealots and Stalkers. Like, this is the opposite of the Stalker opening with 3 gateways where you get Blink and you're like, all right, we're going to try to put some pressure on and do this and that. And then later on we have a Colossus and they kind of all pair together.
Yeah.
You know, the big Colossus like the mama and the little Stalkers like the babies, you know.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, you know, when you're just getting Colossi and, you know, doing some Stargate tech, you really need to make sure each Colossus stays alive, otherwise they can't defend each other.
Yeah. It's that's definitely the thing. It is about that scaling. It is like a Protoss mech type of build. And, you know, you're not really putting pressure on. You're flying around with the Phoenixes, sure. And look, I mean, this is good stuff. You're getting some information. You're killing a few SCVs. That's fantastic right there for Classic moves like that. It's so useful. But not end of the world for Dream. This is not what's going to necessarily win the game here for Classic. By the way, it looks like he wants to get ready to take a 4th base already here, which is kind of super fast.
Yeah, seems pretty speedy. The Phoenixes are coming in here looking for anything they can find. They're pretty spread out, so he's got to be careful. Don't want to drop a Phoenix here or there.
Yeah,
he does drop one.
You know, this expanding in this general unit composition, you know, one thing to note is this is how he's actually putting pressure onto Dream. Like, Dream is the one that has to pull the trigger here. He has to find a way in now. You cannot just let your opponent make these units all together and be like, that's fine, I'll just win later.
Right. He comes in here and chases those Phoenixes away. And it looks like they might be coming up over into it. Look, so notice everything's branching out here. And I don't think, there's not enough Marines at the bottom and not even up on the left here to kind of get a good surround. Now, he's got some up here at 12 o'clock, but he doesn't seem to have anywhere to kind of throw them in to start to cause a strain here on Classic.
Classic now is actually splitting his army. Sent like half of it towards the natural and half of it towards the 4th base. This is a rather large Terran army coming up right now. Lots of Marines in there.
Now, looking at the 3rd base and the 4th base, I don't feel like this geography is too bad for Protoss.
No, it looks okay, yeah. Like the way that you have these little ramps, and then it's kind of like a straight line.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like great vision outside of it, so the map is a little bit of a dark and scary place for Classic. But you see he's roaming back and forth. He's trying to kind of keep active so he can catch anything coming in.
A couple of DTs are here.
I think those are adepts.
Oh, I'm sorry, adepts. And you have...
what told me is when I could see them.
Yeah, they weren't cloaked. I think seeing that in this phase of the game later on, I'm like, oh yeah, DTs, of course, like in PBT.
Yeah. 2 more Stargates. Just getting into that carrier production, diving in now on some of these SCVs.
Okay, he's coming up now.
That's fake, right? Oh, no, there are units behind. I only saw the mid-packs. I'm like, what?
Well, he's coming up here to the top now. I think he wants to draw this attack away, but I think the scan might have given away the intentions here of Classic. So he's going to try again. Now, I feel like we saw this already in Game 2 and it didn't quite work, but is it going to work here again? Yeah. He also might try to drop on top of the Colossi.
But look at this spread of units here. He's got some of that static D up. I like it. Tries to send in those medevacs, and he's just going to start to drop here. But yeah, he's got to be careful with moves like this.
I agree.
Now what I like is that he has army on both sides, and he started like his Viking production already. He has +1 already done for those Vikings, but like you're sitting against a very turtle Protoss with his army split up, and you're trying to rush in medevacs, and that just I think like hitting the edges is cool, but when you're trying to pull a fast one, and literally the only thing Classic is doing right now is watching for that.
Right.
That's it, because that's one of his win conditions that we talked about, right?
Well, Protoss has a little bit less than Terran as far as bases, with this 6 o'clock base being taken, but yeah, it seems like Protoss has basically gotten to where the Protoss wants to be. There's enough carriers, there's enough Colossus, and the Phoenixes have been keeping the Terran honest, and so now, you know, I think shortly here, once the Protoss holds off the next attack, assuming that happens, I think they're going to start going for a fight. They're going to start trying to end this game.
Well, this is looking different from Classic this time as well, I have to say. He's not just staying on Sky, right? Like, he's actually getting attack upgrades, he's getting charge, he's getting a ton of gateways. So it's definitely a bit different. Like, it looks the same, I think, in many, many ways. But he's going to be able to refill. Like, if you get too many Vikings here, he can go ground. You know, he has like 8 gates or something right now. He has charge about to finish. So Classic, this feels like he's in a way better spot than the previous game.
Well, it looks like he's where he needs to be. He's where he wants to be. Disruptors here as well. Now he's going to try to actually start to take the fight and just annihilating everything. The counterattack comes in. Now, what's actually back here for Protoss? Nothing.
Yeah, this is exactly the type of move I think he needs to make.
Yeah, and this is great. You can kill off this Nexus.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up and, I don't know, go into the main or get the Forge, or I don't know, just get whatever you can get.
Sure, there's a Robo here, there's upgrades going on. It looks like there's going to be enough units coming in that, I mean, this army is obviously not going to last. But that's good damage. This is exactly the type of move you want to do, because it is very much so a death ball composition that Classic is on right now. So it's being warped in. So now yeah, I like this. I like this. Oh my God, we're getting the Tempest damage upgrade here. Blink on the way as well. More Nexuses, more Robos, Dark Shrine, Templar Archives. Classic just getting everything. Has Phoenix range, by the way.
Okay, he's going to come down once again. Do we have any other counterattacks set up here for Terran? I see one down here in the bottom right. But at some point in time, you got to realize that from the Protoss's perspective, you can actually just keep pushing. Ooh, you know, and you're going to have stuff warping in, drop a Nexus or two, but keep going for it.
Well, I think he's killing a lot of interceptors of these Vikings. Unfortunately, those are the worst possible things for him to be attacking. I think he needs to target fire every single shot.
I think you're right.
So we just saw like 6 or 7 volleys of 12+ Vikings hit interceptors, which is just not going to be a good trade for you.
This game should be over. Yeah. There's no way for Terran to stop this amount of damage, and the small forces that were a distraction. I mean, look, Protoss Warpins of Zealots alone are going to clean that up. GG, Classic takes it, and we're going to the final match of the night.
All right, yeah, Classic finally taking down a match here. Dream, it's kind of weird to have him out in the first round. He's had very good seasons for the last couple years.
Yeah, he's looked very strong, and he certainly looked strong in this series.
Yeah, he was not bad, but that's hard to play against, right?
Well, it does seem like Classic clearly gets something here. It's like, especially on a map like that where a lot of the entry points to the like first layer of exterior bases on that map, like the third and the fourth,
yeah,
for Protoss, it's like actually these entry points are very bottleneckish, and that's where splash damage thrives.
Yeah. All right. That means we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, DRG versus Classic.
Tell my mother I won't be home soon. Donate the clothes in the corner of the room. Can't spend another day pretending like I'm not just waiting. This is never where I thought I'd be. Blowing the candles out on 23. Staring holes inside the same old scenes that familiar. Your face yeah. And don't forget, I still got dreams to hop the fence and up the trees while you're sleeping on me. I'm believing in the changes, and I'll be like a pantomime. I'll act it out for real this time while you're sleeping on me. I'm believing in the changes. I want my brother back complacency. Don't take for granted any day you breathe. 10,000 hours doesn't work real well unless you mastered that shit for free. And every single day bury the past in dirt. Be well intentioned with your efforts and please keep your word. This life is a lease, don't put no money down, it is all temporary. It's true, the sky isn't gray yet. You can love it and hate it, but keep smiling and waiting. And don't forget, you still got dreams to hop the fence and up the trees while they're sleeping on you. And you'll be like a pantomime. You'll act it out for real this time.
Ain't nobody can touch my vision. Do it if I have to crawl. Trying to make the right decision. Nothing's gonna shake me off. Used to turn me on, now it's unknown. Yeah, my mind is gone. Used to turn me on, now I feel alone, and I'm getting old. Nothing to repeat, getting kinda old, feeling incomplete. Truly, like they told me, better take a break to satisfy my soul. Think I gotta go. I wasn't ready for it. Wasn't ready for it. You can't blame me when I'm freaking out.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스.
아침엔 라떼 홀리 점심엔 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 분부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫식스.
아침엔 라떼 홀리 점심엔 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리
충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
나한테 우리
Raider successfully takes the 2-1 this best of 3, and he is finally getting his IEM victory. It took a couple of tries.
Missile can be very effective, and Brood Lords can't really do much about Super. So here we go. 대왕의 길을 열고 있어요. 지금 번도가 나는데요. 장난이죠. It's it. Here takes it. The unsuspecting.
Today's matchup. Dark. Classic. Match 1. DRG. Dream. Match 2. Africa TV Freak Up Studio Live. GSL Season 1. Code S.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to close the night out with a best of 3 to decide who is the second player to be eliminated and the second player to move on to the next phase of GSL Code S. DRG versus Classic is where we end this all tonight.
Yeah, this should be a good match, I think. I'm actually really excited to see. Like, I think Classic is going to stay on his Void Ray openers. Let's see what DRG has planned to try to take that down. In the past, he has been, like, basically his Zerg vs. Terran is top tier, and then his Zerg vs. Protoss and Zerg vs. Zerg do feel a step down from the other top Zergs in Korea. So I'm wondering what his Zerg vs. Protoss is going to look like here against Classic.
Seems, at least against Dark, that Classic, had this idea. Kind of looked even similar to what we saw in the last game, at least with getting the carriers and kind of slow playing it, but Dark dismantled it. Now, nowhere does it say that Classic has to try that again and make it work here on GRG, but I think we're all going to be watching for that and looking for that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to go down that road. We have Roughneck, Hardwire, and Blackburn as our 3 maps. Oh, that's interesting. Blackburn is the last map. I'm really hoping we get there. Definitely plays a bit differently.
Yeah.
The gold base and the way where both the mains are on the bottom. Yeah, that could be a very interesting final set.
Should be fun. DRG, he's had how do I say this? I mean, his ZVZ, it's so different than PvP. I don't want to take too much from it, but also the ZV T today, I mean, he got cheesed by Dream and shut it down both times. So I feel like I'm still trying to get my bearings on where DRG is at exactly. Yeah. And I think this best of 3 is going to be the perfect place to see it.
For sure, you're right about that. Who do you think moves on here? It's a hard one.
I actually don't know. I mean, if I picked one, I'd be guessing, but I think it's okay for me to guess. Maybe Classic.
Classic?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's see. DRG is also a player in general. It's hard to kind of place where he's at. Sometimes he looks so strong with his fundamentals. Anyways, guys, let's go to Roughneck.
2022 GSL
Get your next Rough.
Season 1. Team MB, DRG. Alpha X, Classic.
Roughneck PVZ.
So we were casting a TVZ on this earlier. We did note that the top right and bottom left bases, they're super far away from everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be as much of a factor here or not. If it is, it's probably going to be in the Zerg's favor. But definitely against Dream, it was like Zerg seems to start to take moon bases at that point in time.
Moon bases, yeah. Totally. Expanding the moon, your opponent doesn't even have rocket ships. It's like, well, that's imbalanced.
It's like you're fighting, a battle on ground, and it's like, well, they're also taking the moon. You got to stop that. You're like, man,
the moon, you say. You start working on a spaceship that can hold its atmosphere inside. They're like, hey, sorry, now they took a base on the bottom of the ocean. You're like, oh, dude, like, how do I deal with this?
This is hard, man.
It's like, well, just expand at the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, a planetary dies to banelings.
If you can't go to the moon and the bottom of the ocean, how are you going to conquer the Earth and its moon? Riddle me that. Oh, wait. Oh, see, he's drilling.
Yeah, like drilling for gold minerals down there.
Yeah, it seems pretty dangerous to drill on a cliff like that. But look at the drilling going on at the bottom, below that in the water.
No, it's not making much headway.
No.
The drill bit will break eventually.
The minerals are right there. What are we doing? Stargate proxy. Now, the build time on the Void Rays changed. I don't know why I suddenly decided this was a PvT. I think we were talking about mining minerals like that. I'm looking at this Terran stuff. I just decided we're in a PvT. But could this be a Void Ray here?
No, I think it has to be Oracle.
Okay, that's what
like
I thought
if you make Void Ray, no.
But I literally just decided this was a PvT and that they were going to go Void Rays because I'm so used to thinking about Stargates
Proxy
disclose
Stargate,
and then the Void Ray change.
All right, little Adept walking up right now. I mean, if you're going to proxy Oracle, I guess you're probably not going to go into Void Ray afterwards, right? Like, you could make one, but, like, not a Void Ray build, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You'd have to rebuild a Stargate at home because they are going to eliminate that pylon.
Adept going to continue to shade in over here.
Definitely some big potential for damage here. No spores even started. Look at this. The Queen's coming up to fight against this Adept. Out of position. Ooh, doesn't quite get that last drone, unfortunately. Ah, the juking from DRG a bit too strong.
Oh, man, this is super low on HP. It's going to get away, but, like, that really didn't do that much.
It didn't. It didn't. That's a little bit. Oh, my God.
Wait, what?
Another
What's another
Stargate?
pylon? Wait.
I mean, another pylon, yeah.
It's a very small Stargate.
Yeah.
Void Ray. All right. Apology accepted.
Yeah, no, I guess so.
They're going to go back to the Zerg's base and it's a Terran. I'm like, I was never wrong.
This is... Oh, he's going to go Tempest. Fascinating.
Yeah,
I definitely did not expect what we're seeing here.
And I guess the Void Ray is like, yeah, you can make one of these in between that. And another
so
Stargate. You were right. I apologize, Artosis.
It's all right, Tasis. I'm going to let it go this time.
Normally I cast this off the pro gamers' lines in their palms, but...
Dude, this is weird. Now Ling Bane is going to be coming out. Like, you watch, like, this fancy build for Classic, and Ling Bane just gets right into his natural, kills him off. You recall Tempest try to kill Zerglings. You ever see anything that sad before, Tasteless? Oh my God.
Mass Lings. DRG feeling uncomfortable.
I'm just like trying to imagine Tempest being recalled to try to kill Mass
I know.
Zergling. It's like sadder than being dumped on your birthday. You know? It's like just... Look at all the queens coming out.
All right, so he wants to just try to end this
Does
up
he
here.
know he can't transfuse out here? Dude, look at this. Link Bane coming up. Oh, boy.
Okay. Goes for that battery. Uses the Banes on the pylon. So there's two pylons here, but you know, there's one pylon that's a little bit more important than the others, and that's behind the gas and the minerals. On the left, I mean. I guess they're both behind the gas.
He's actually defending this surprisingly well. Like, the Tempests are doing really well against these Queens.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. He needs to pull that Tempest at the top center away, though.
Yeah, it looks like he might actually end up losing that one.
What am I... Okay.
Just GG's.
And that's what I call a gaming fight.
Gaming fight.
That was kind of cool. So I guess DRG saw that and didn't know how to answer it, and we know that for sure now because he tried that, and Classic's like, I know this exactly.
That's not something that you're likely to hit very often, is it? Really interesting building placements there by Classic.
Oh, poopy face.
Builds everything around the drill.
Frustrating loss there for DRG. It's like, oh, all right. Like,
well, yeah, that was definitely very, very cheesy from Classic. But cool. I like to see it. I mean, obviously the Queen's coming out. I think DRG, though, should have probably paused and then be like, you guys need to tell me it's on the new patch. try to get the game restarted, you know what I mean?
That was a cool move there by Classic. Again, I feel like maybe if you have seen that before, it doesn't quite go that way, but I don't think DRG had seen that before.
No.
I like our music in between games. This is like the alien ships are coming and the humans are in trouble. Or the Zergs are in trouble. Because for the Zergs, the Protoss are the aliens. Don't be confused about that.
Oh.
So are the Terrans.
Well, no, Terrans aren't.
They're the aliens. To the Zergs, yeah.
That's crazy.
2022 GSL Season 1. Team MB, DRG. Alpha X, Classic.
You know, back to what you're saying about humans being aliens to Zerg and to Protoss. I have thought for a long time that it would be really cool. You know, the alien invasion movies we see where aliens land on Earth and it's like super apocalyptic and scary and like all that. I want to see one of those where the humans are the aliens, like landing, and like you see the alien civilization, like they build it up, like everyone's kind to each other and like living a happy life, and then these advanced humans come down with our machine guns and like we
pillaged their planets for battery, material or something.
Yeah. And I mentioned before because I do think that would be a really cool movie idea because it would kind of like flip that around and someone's like, oh, it's like that's what Avatar is. It's like no, that's
Avatar is so bad.
Avatar is actually. Like, we should be getting royalties. They basically ripped us off. Like, every time we cast, we connect our Avatar tails. You know
the truth is that StarCraft really copied Fern Gully, so I guess actually we all are in a little bit of trouble here,
That's true.
Avatar is actually so bad.
It was supposed to be, like, so cool because it was, like, the first movie made like that, right?
Well, that was when they thought there was going to be, like, we're all going to go to movies with the 3D glasses.
Oh, right.
Like the actual kind of carnival-looking 3D glasses.
Which, by the way, Biff Tanner's friend in Back to the Future always wears 3D glasses. That's like the coolest.
That is the coolest, man.
I want to be like that guy. I just want to wear 3D glasses everywhere.
And then there were 4D movies in Korea for a while where, like,
oh, yeah, I went and saw
splash
some of those,
in water. They kind of splash water on
blows
your neck.
air on you and stuff.
It's dumb.
It is kind of stupid.
It's really dumb.
There's chair rocks.
It's like, oh, they're in a desert. I wish I was physically hot. It's like, no.
Well, I wish some air from a tube in my seat would blow in my face right now so I really feel like I'm flying.
Yeah. So I can feel like it's the cheapest Disney ride in the world. Do they make movies in 3D anymore? Is that a thing? Like in theaters? That was a thing.
It was a thing for a little bit? I don't think so.
Like
nowadays, it just goes like IMAX, right? And that's about it.
I mean, but IMAX makes sense, though.
I think you can at certain places see like movies that are like 3D or 4D or whatever it is. Like I think it does.
But it's like the director comes in there and goes like, "We're going to film this."
Exactly.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's more like some places you can do things like there's. I had a TV once that had a setting that made stuff 3D or whatever, or it was a monitor or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to play StarCraft in it, actually.
Yeah.
It was really weird trying to defend Reapers. But like, there's ways to make stuff pop nowadays. But it's what we're really figuring out is that 2D was the best Steam taste.
That's right. So this game, it doesn't look like Classic wants to do anything similar. I mean, we have, again, a Void Ray out here, but this seems to be more of a replication of what he tried against Dark and did not succeed in doing. But I do think that Dark is on a different level than DRG. So maybe we're going to see Classic's ideas pan out and what he really wants to try to go for.
Yeah, yeah. He might be able to just go straight into, you know, yeah, look at that. He starts his +1 air, second Stargate. So, yeah, I think that was just a well-planned cheese for the new map that he had against DRG. It's like kind of an interesting location. You know, far to walk to, but very close by air and everything, behind the mineral patches. He had the drill there, which is also yellow. So, like, if you just happen to glance, maybe you think that, wow, there's like a lot of drills over there right now. Tasteless is not listening to me at all. I could say anything right now.
All I hear is, tasteless.
I could dox you right now. You wouldn't have any idea.
And I'd be like, no, you're probably right. Anyways, I see that melee attacks coming here.
By the way, that little bird thing there on the ground, Tasteless, I want to know how that evolved. That thing doesn't have wings or arms. It just has legs, a tail, and a head. It's like a snake with legs, but only 2. Because a snake with 4 legs is a lizard.
But the problem is if that thing trips on a rock, it just dies. It can't get back up.
It's so true. Yeah, it has a push with its like face. Its mouth is in the dirt trying to push itself
Its beak is very brittle too. It just breaks and then it screams and dies as desert dirt collects in its face hole.
Yeah. A garbage animal. No wonder it's not a Zerg unit.
Yeah. They don't want to infest that. It would be cool if when the creep came across the map, like the little creatures just got infested and just became critters.
They could just fight.
They turn into banelings. I think they should change it to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dark did say the patch really hurt Zerg, so we need to give him something back.
That Dark interview, man, that was something else.
So, yeah, this is right into the Fleet Beacon. We see Twilight coming up right now as well, so it does look like it's going to be going into...
Oh. Did someone say, you got tattoos? Maybe it doesn't matter.
Huh. Well, he has does he have an Overlord over here that he can drop creep with?
Oh, good question.
I don't think so.
What if Protoss just kills us? What if we find out that DRG didn't know? He pauses the game and we watch in real time as they explain him the game was patched. He's like, you just see his jaw drop and he gets really quiet and then walks out of the studio without it pausing.
Yeah. Well, the Queens are coming up, but plenty of cannons, plenty of photons.
Oh boy.
Plenty of shield barriers. Okay, so this is not looking super hot for DRG right now, is it?
It would be even worse if he got a little bit further out and then he turned back around. He's like, no, you know what? It's too far. It's just...
He was like thinking to himself, he's like, wait a minute.
Dude, he's going to do that. He's got more links coming. He's like, well, he's going right by the tag Queens. I think that this is going to be bad. Well...
No, I think this is good for DRG.
Yeah, don't worry. He stopped the 4th base that, you know, Protoss thought was free.
What if this was to trick Classic into making shield batteries and cannons?
Well, you already tricked him into making a 4th base, and, I mean, he's a laughingstock now.
He's a laughingstock. Look at all those defensive buildings and units he's made.
Can you make zealots with those?
And the Queen stasis, they did exactly what they wanted to do. Yeah. They gained energy on that walk. You should see when they get back on creep just how many transfusions they can cast now.
You should see their pedometers now and the calories they burn. All right.
Okay, nice force cancel.
It's a weird one, man.
Infestation pit coming up.
Oh.
DRG taking his 5th in the top left.
2 carriers coming here. Disruptors and the weapons upgrade here for Protoss. And now we're going to basically wait and see. You know, as the army gets tougher and tougher, upgrades kick in. There's 19 mutas coming out here. And he's going to force a cancel on this. Well, what do you think about the Muta explosion? This actually could be good.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, God.
Sees
All right,
it
he sees it. That's big.
immediately.
Does he switch into Phoenixes after these two carriers come out?
He just started Phoenix range, so definitely going to be doing that. Throwing down some additional photon cannons, another Stargate coming up. I think you can't make more mutas than what you've made right now. You have to dive in with these, see what you can get done, and then figure something else out. This was scouted too quickly. Okay. Okay. Gets one of the disruptors.
I like the fake Archon.
Yeah.
And now it's Corruptors and Banelings, actually. Kind of a funny composition here.
Ling Bane Corruptor. Yeah, the Muta's gonna. Ooh. They actually dive in on the main there. Oh, no. He's actually gonna force a cancel on Phoenix range. Look at that. Denied. Nicely done.
Okay, that's huge. 21 workers killed.
That looks like that will be it. Classic down to 58 against 90 workers from DRG. DRG adding in quite a few Corruptors now.
And I gotta say, man, it's kind of crazy. It seems like, you know, whatever Classic wants to do with this comp, now it's not looking so good, is it?
No, it's really not. Like, if he had range on these Phoenixes, it would certainly be looking better than it is right now.
Even then, though, it seems like he's able to take some of these fights. Oh, man.
Yeah, that didn't go so well for DRG.
No, it did not. 18 mutas lost so far. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, one of the things now is that, like, if Zerg can't do crazy damage coming up here, Protoss is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. We'll have to watch for the Banelings and if and how they connect on the targets. But other than Banelings, I don't see a whole lot of outs here for the Zerg.
Yeah, it's kind of an ugly position to be playing from. I think you have to kind of rebuild what you're doing here. Look at, oh man, that is going to be huge. Look at that. Oh my God, slows everything down here. Oh, never mind. Just unpower everything immediately. Okay, and then I kill all that, and then disruptor balls. Okay, job there. Looks like he will get the Nexus as well. Yeah, it actually turned out all right.
Yeah, that went really well. It's funny, it's like the Lings and the Banes are doing much more work than the Mutas and Corruptors.
I guess the Mutas and Corruptors are doing something here, kind of keeping it busy. But they are being picked off so quickly, so efficiently. We have some Infestors on the way, a lot more Banes coming in. I mean, if you keep him off of 4th base, it gets a little bit tricky for him. And there are 90 drones right now.
The Corruptor's going to push these Phoenixes back a little bit further. Again, the Lings are going to come in here, do quite a bit as the Banes. I mean, what does he want to do with these, I guess? Try to commit onto something. Can't get back out with those. Dude, I'm looking at this game and, like, I'm getting a little bit worried here for Classic because he's not really going anywhere. And, you know, I get the idea that this set of units is you amass it, and that's really what this is amassing a big air fleet.
Yeah.
But it just seems like Zerg can kind of run circles around you while they take the entire top half of the map.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's like Classic is not, he's like kind of staying at the same supply, he's staying at approximately the same base count. There's like some efficiency going on, I guess, but...
What's weird is, like, I get like adept timing attacks basically stopped working, and so there was this whole era of us watching Protoss like try to do something sneaky and it backfires, and you know, there you go. But now I look at this and I just think, you know, Protoss are basically in this position now where they're very, very focused on trying to amass this up, but I don't see Protoss going anywhere with this tech.
No.
I mean, DRG's doing pretty much the same thing as Dark, maybe not as strong as Dark did, but the fundamentals, as far as problems are for Protoss, they're still there.
Yeah. Well, he's starting to add some Ultras in, so some different ideas are coming out here for DRG.
Right.
Getting the Adrenal upgrade, +3 on melee, gonna pick off a Nexus. But yeah, as far as Classic, there's nothing new, right? Like he's making some voids. Like I guess a few Archons are going to be added in. Yeah, the voids might be his best chance, but now we even see Vipers for DRG. Like DRG is getting a step ahead right now.
So, I mean, Protoss sits back. They are eventually maxed out. We probably need to see some kind of a push here for Protoss. I mean, Protoss will never win this game if they don't attack out. Unless we get so far along in this game that Zerg has used up their side of the map, and then we get to one of these moments where Protoss is trying to move into their part, and Zerg's having to, like, basically overextend and super commit, try to get any more resources. But I don't think we're there at that point yet at all.
Yeah. Neural is coming up. These infestors, like fungal plus just anything here is going to make it very difficult for him. But parasitic bombs will be coming out.
It's the bank that worries me here for Classic, is that it looks like DRG just has so much money that after the fight's done, he's going to remake exactly what he needs, and it's going to be okay.
Ooh, parasitic bombs going out all over the place right now, and down come the infestors. Some fungals thrown out.
Yeah, you know, I got to say, man, Protoss is starting to really hang on in this fight. I don't see that much left over here. The Neurals are insane, though. And ultimately, the Corruptors reign supreme, as they always have. And again, Zerg's going to max back out. This looks like we should be going to a Game 3. And I'll tell you what, man, I think it's time to take this style of play from Classic today and put it in the closet and bring out something new to play with, because it's not working. It's looking like the same game over and over and over here from Classic, where it's like, you know, he's driving himself mad trying to get this composition, and, like, you know, DRG and Dark as well. They're just not going to let you get there.
Yeah, it seems that way. Even when Classic had a little bit of an edge for a little bit, DRG just started running around with Ling Bane and causing problems, and that's what we saw happen at Classic before as well. Like, he just can't hold on to the bases. So yeah, maybe it's time for something else. His aggressive play against Dream ended up working out. I mean, well, I guess, but I meant against DRG there.
Yeah. Well,
wasn't very aggressive against Dream. He was aggressively trying to get that crazy composition.
This is the last map in the last best of 3 for Group A, man. Either DRG or Classic move on, and the other one is the second player to be eliminated in the round of 20. Let's see who it is. The map is Blackburn. Let's go.
2022 GSL Season 1. Team MB, DRG. Alpha X, Classic.
So this map is a different one. It's one we're pretty familiar with. You can have split map on this for sure. And, you know, because of the spawns on this map, you do end up with locations at the top right that are pretty unattackable.
Yeah.
You know, that is, you know, Zerg, look, they've been so dominant in StarCraft 2 for a long time now. And one of the things we see is that there's certain bases that Zerg can take. And this should be something map makers should consider in the future, is these new bases that Zerg can get that are just, you can't reach them. You know?
Yeah.
There's certain maps where I look at this and I'm like, that's not a base that you can attack into without really being punished.
Yeah. Any map where the players share the same side, that tends to happen on.
Sure.
Right? Like,
and it's
Golden Wall, remember?
Yeah, of course.
They were both on the bottom, and it's like, yeah, well then, I mean, whatever you're putting at the top corners is infinity away from your opponent.
Yeah.
It's just so far out.
And, you know, I believe, you know, it's Roughneck where you have, again, expansions in the bottom left and top right where it's like, man, that seems pretty far out.
Yeah.
But if we do get in the late game, the top right expansion on this map that could be a factor. It could be an issue.
Sure.
But part of me feels like we couldn't possibly have Classic try this again, right? I mean, I understand when you come in with something.
It's definitely a map that can be divided, though.
Yeah. I think the issue, though, is that, well, actually, you're right. This is a more dividable map. It's actually smaller than the other maps as far as, like, what bases there are. Some of these maps are huge, and Zerg can kind of just, you know, do whatever they want on that side of the map.
Yeah, you kind of get 5 bases semi-easily. I guess the minerals can be attacked on the gold base. 12 and 6 are, like, when we see split map, like, no one really ends up mining from those, because if you do, you kind of win, right?
Yeah.
And then you have that, like, more forward base, which I guess you can get because there are those slow zones, so it's a little bit hard for your opponent to engage into your side. But yeah, it's like some of the other maps, occasionally you'll see, like, Zerg will take a base where it's like, oh, that might be a Protoss base, really, right?
Yeah.
This map, I don't think you'll ever see it. The game's already over, right?
Right, yeah. I think you're correct on that.
So it might actually be a good map for Classics, what he's been trying to do.
Well, I mean, if that's what he's going to do, it looks like it started. And we've got the Void Ray coming on here. And, I mean, let's see. As the game
see a startup at a third, though. Like, we don't see a pylon.
I think it's usually after the Void Ray's out, but, you know, it might be differently timed out on this map. Things depend. It looks like he's going to get that set up over here now.
Yep.
So there it is. That Nexus is started.
And now we'll see if he starts the +1 air weapons. Ooh, Twilight.
Okay, and you know what this could be? He's going to go straight into some kind of a push. Because it's, you know, even to us, we were watching it, we thought, okay, well, here it is. Let's give it a shot again. And what he might try to do is just clock him in the jaw with a push.
Yeah, and I think that DRG definitely thinks that this is going to be a Stargate build. He's getting +1 melee, which is just generally very good against Stargate, right? Because the Lings kill things so quickly, and it's hard for Stargate units to kill Lings quickly.
Whoa, but you don't want to lose that.
No, sir.
Honestly, really, it's important to not even take that much hull damage on that. So some gates are coming here. Charge is inbound. He's going to get a Warp Prism, have an explosion of gateways, and try to charge block him.
Yeah, he's going up to 4 gates right now. You think it's going to be more than 4?
I mean, if he's going to actually attack with it, I think he has to, right?
Yeah.
It's like 3 gateways. It's like 3 zealots come at a time. We're like, oh no.
It's 4 gates, but yeah, it's not that many. But occasionally you'll see things like, you know, there's adept builds where you only go like 3 gate adept with a prism and put pressure on, and then you tech up behind that. So it kind of looks scarier than it is. Yeah,
well,
look at that. Huh.
And then a Robo support bay.
Disruptor? Colossus?
Well, it might set up to look like it's going to be more all-in with Zealots, and then it's not, and then there's going to be a follow-up harass. So, I mean, there's a lot of layers to this trick.
Yeah, if you force Roaches here, because you're going charge lots, then Disruptors are going to do very well.
Spire inbound. Keep in mind, when mutas can be made, almost all parts of what Classic are doing are not going to work.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, slow Warp Prism into Queen and Spore. I don't like that.
No, not so much. Good defense here from DRG so far. Oh, God. He can't even kill the Creep Tumor.
Oh, boy.
This is not the end of the world for Classic, though. Even though none of this is working, like, it's 4 gates. He doesn't have that many Zealots. This is almost fake in some ways. I like this for DRG, though. This definitely looks better for him, in my opinion. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacon. Is he gonna actually go into, like, is this anti-Spire? Did he actually see the Spire?
No, but I mean, you just see Lings and you kind of expect it, right?
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Well, let's see. I mean, there's almost 1,000 gas.
Well, he didn't start +1 air. which I feel like you just basically always get if you're going to have 2 Stargates pumping out.
Yeah, well, either way, I mean, he needs to be ready for air attack to come in here from the Zerg. And, you know, honestly, this has done, like, nothing. Like, this has been a pretty abysmal early game for the Protoss.
Carrier?
Okay,
what am
so
I looking at?
it's like
what is this?
Carrier before anything else?
He, like, went 4 gate, very few units, harass a little bit, not really get anything done.
Well, he's sort of
carriers without +1.
He's shifting from tech to tech. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like he's trying to throw him off so much.
Maybe.
But I mean, I don't know how well this is going to work. It's a weird game, man. Anyways, there's 15 mutas inbound, and here's the thing. I think there's about to be more mutas than interceptors in this game, Artosis.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's like 1 carrier. There are some Archons.
Yeah.
So he does have some potential here. More Archons being made.
Yeah, but the question is, where are the Archons going to be? Because, you know, there's not even cannons here. So the mutas just come in, they're going to kill the probes. The Archons are going to get there. It's a tale as old as StarCraft 1, man. When the Protoss just has Archons, and you're like, well, I guess these are supposed to be mutas if the mutas ever choose to fight them.
Yeah. Okay, the mutas just absolutely destroying some Stalkers being warped in. Very much a desperation moment here. None of that shoots up.
None of that shoots up.
I think this is about it, man. These mutas are doing too much. Yeah, Classic just threw his head to the side.
Yeah, this game's over. A very, very kind of bizarre end to the series here is Classic. I think, you know, it's like watching a series of failed magic tricks. And you know, none of them have worked, and here we are. And then this is the moment where he has to admit that magic's not real, and he has to take his top hat off and take the dead pigeon out of his jacket and walk out, because he ain't tricking DRG.
No, Classic is incredibly dead. Twice the supply right now for DRG, a million links coming down. The mutas themselves have done enough damage to end this game, but now with the links killing off the nexuses and all the probes, Classic is just letting it sink in right now. Unfortunately, not going to be able to make it into the next round of GSL once again.
Okay, so this is over, man. I mean, DRG moves on. The Zergs, look at this one Archon. That was it all. That was Classic right there, watching his hopes of
watching his
the round of 10 dashed.
Yeah. And DRG definitely very happy about this advancement. Did get really slammed by Dark, but played nicely other than that. And
yeah,
here we go. A couple Zergs going to the round of 10.
How many more will move on, Artosis? That's the question. I think Dream and Classic looked good, but some shaky moments in their play. I think Dream probably really regretting the double cheese against DRG to start this off.
Yeah.
Classic, look, he gets the matchup PVT. He looked very good during that, but the PVZ stuff, man, this kind of Void Ray carrier tech looked old, and it felt even worse when he tried to make it work. We're going to go to an interview now with DRG. Andy is unable to be in the studio today, so it's going to be your boy.
두 번째 10강 진출자 박수호 선수 최종전통에서 진출하게 됐습니다.
Our second player to advance is DRG.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Congratulations. Thank
자,
you.
먼저 10강에 안착한 소감부터 들어볼게요.
So first of all, I want to hear how you feel.
한번 이기면 16강이어서 아직 선수들이 많이 남은 느낌이었는데 이제 10강이잖아요. 뭔가 약간 8강에 한 번에 가는.
Last season, if I won, it was just the round of 16. Still felt like it was a far way to go, but now it's the round of 10, so I'm feeling good.
인상적이었습니다. 마지막 세트 승리할 때 좀 어떤 기분이셨어요?
처음에 링 스카웃을 해가지고 상대방 마당에서 질러 씻는 걸 봐가지고 이거 막으면 상황 굉장히.
After the first game defending,
그것만 초점을 두고
you defended that cheese rush really well. Any thoughts on that?
와이어 승리 얘기해 볼게요.
I knew it was coming ahead of time,
멀티 견제
so I knew what to do.
정말 좋았고요. 또 여왕 우린 심리전도 있었습니다. 이 운영에 대한 자신감이 느껴졌었는데요.
Seems like you're very confident in macro games.
사실 좀 오늘 운영 승리는 좀
Oh, she had a question with the mind game with the queen all in.
많이 따라줬다고 생각하고요. 그래도 하는데 토스한테 운영 게임
I think I get lucky a lot of times in macro games, and whenever I play on ladder, I always actually lose. So
떠나기 전에
I also
우선 상대로 이렇게 해봐라.
I got some pointers from Dark in the matchup, ZBT. He gave me some good tips, so I appreciate
그런데
that.
박수호 선수 러프넥에서 여왕이 수혈이 안 되잖아요.
Let's talk about the game on Roughneck.
거기까지 가서 알았어요.
The Queens couldn't transfuse.
들어오고 있는데 애들이 만화를 쓸 생각을 안 해가지고
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I kept trying to transfuse my
망했다.
Queens, and I noticed later.
좋구나 싶었어요.
네.
Oh, that's right, it's a patch, so that's why I couldn't do it.
2연속 전진병영
Round of
빌드에
10.
대한 대처가 완벽했는데요. 예상 가능하셨나요?
Dream did a proxy Rex twice in a row.
하고 바이오닉도 정도
Seems like you were completely prepared. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
왔는데 오늘 경기장에서 리토를 하는데 자꾸
So Dream does bio
뭐 신맵이
and has a variety of builds.
이런 소리를 하길래 이거 무조건 날빌이다. 그래서 그냥 들어서 최대한 꼼꼼히
Before we
하면서
were going into the
마지막에
matches,
잘 통했던 것 같아요.
오늘 투베이스 뮤탈리스트까지
he was kind of saying weird stuff like bio's pretty good, so I thought, okay, something weird's going on here. So I was ready for cheese.
안착하게 됐습니다. 자, 오늘 다른 이야기도 해보면 오늘 경기력이 IEM 화풀이.
Let's talk about some other things. Seems as though
IEM에서의 아쉬움 잠깐 한 번 더 얘기를 해볼게요.
you're probably still disappointed about your IEM results. Let's talk about that for a second. You were eliminated very quickly, one of the first to be eliminated.
사실 그 핵도 경기 다 끝나고
So honestly,
얘기해줘서 알았어요. 저는 내 게임 끝날 때까지 맞은 줄도 몰라가지고 정말 게임을 많이
all the other players told me after I was done that I was out,
뭐 어쩌겠어요.
and that's when I really
되게 좋은 경험
registered with me how poorly I played.
카토비체를 한 번도 안 가봤어요.
So I'm going to try to harness that and use that as a bit of experience moving forward.
오랜만에 만나가지고 얘기하고 개념도 많이 듣고 하니까
That was my first time in Katowice as well.
강탈 뭐 성적이 받쳐졌으면 더 좋았겠지만
And it was also very cool to meet all the players from all over the world, all the international players.
박수호 선수는 이번 밸런스 패치
It was a good trip.
생각하세요?
사실
What are your thoughts on the patch?
이거 이대로 되면 좀 토스가 멸망하는 거 아닌가 싶었는데 해보니까 핀너프도 은근히 커가지고 상대방이 뭔가를 했을 때
So at first when I saw the patch, I thought, oh, this is going to be pretty bad for Protoss, but seems to me like it's actually still a manageable thing for Protoss. I think it's good the Queen's got nerfed a little bit too.
어려운 것 같은데 대회는 또
Personally, as a Zerg, I find games against Protoss pretty hard. So, anyways, I'm glad that I played well today. We're going to find out more as the tournament unfolds. Any thoughts before we close this out? You've made it to the round of 10. Any words? Since my participation in Katowice and my experiences there, it was an excellent motivator for me from the first season on. I'm going to get ready to continue to collect all those points. And also I want to especially thank Mario and the pointers from Dark.
왠지 모르게 4명이랑 하는 게 저는 그게 편해가지고 그러니까 5명이서 플리그 도는 게 편해서 재밌을 것 같아요.
알겠습니다.
He's talking about the round robin phase and getting in there. He's looking forward to that. Thank you. Thank you.
네, 이렇게
Cool.
선수 만나봤는데요.
Cool.
That's yeah, congrats to DRG for moving on. It's kind of shocking that he didn't realize that we were playing on the patch.
That's crazy, man.
That's we were literally joking about that.
Yeah.
And it was
well, it's
true.
funny because when I saw the Queens coming, I thought, like, does he still think
He
it's
did it
good?
twice.
Yeah. Well, when he saw it, I was like, well, maybe he just still thinks like it's either going to be good enough or that they're going to underestimate the fact that you can still walk with Queens.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, that's how it went down. DRG advances.
It has been documented.
It has been documented.
That's Group A, guys. 2 Zergs move on. We're going to be back on Thursday, same time, same place. It's going to be Zest, Ryung, Armani, and Maru.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, Zest and Maru you got to look at as a couple favorites in the group. Ryung had a successful Katowice, so we'll see how he does. Armani, I think, a gigantic underdog here. But he shows signs of brilliance from time to time.
Yeah, he's got his moments for sure. Maru, I think, easy peasy moves on. It's going to be fun seeing how Ryung can perform. And I mean, Zest, dude, some say Zest is best.
Some say.
Some say.
Some also say that he's going to the military 7 seasons ago.
I know, it still hasn't happened yet. I get confused.
Yeah.
I've had several moments where I'm like, well, it's his last season, and I play it up, and then I come back in the studio, and I'm like,
I'll literally never
what?
do it again. Even when he's in the military, I'm like, yeah, Zest is in the group later in the week, guys. Like, don't worry about it.
Guys, it's good to have Code S back. We, of course, are here for Super Tournament, but it's good to have our kind of mainline show back.
Yeah.
Started up all over again.
Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Little reminder, ASL is going on at the same time. It is on the Africa TV YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. We have the first round of 8 match already up there for you to watch if you haven't checked it out yet. And, of course, all the other matches have already occurred as well.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see if we're going to have not Zergs move on, man. Zergs
We'll
are looking
definitely have
better
some
and better,
Zergs.
man. I thought, like, especially today, we'd see something different, but apparently even when DRG
doesn't know that we're on the badge. And marches queens across the map twice.
Yeah. So funny to hear that in the interview. We're like, okay, so that is why. All right.
Yeah.
But
it
yeah,
doesn't
man.
seem like this makes that much sense,
Yeah.
does it?
But I think we'll probably have Terran and Protoss advance in Group B. We'll see, though. Guys, that's all the time we have. We love you. Take care. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Minutes are riches off clock when I'm coming on. Profit is labor unpaid. Feeling infinite, I'm in it all summer long. Natural ways, casual fit. 5 pocket Levi's, Adidas for kicks. 3-pack of black tees, easy to hit. See me with her and they seem unconvinced. How do you do that when it's all in the hips? I take my time for feeling finesse. She feel alive, she don't wanna feel less. We stand in line, she rubbing my neck. I don't like lines cause I wanna be next. Even on a minimum, I innovate. I can fit a lot in a long day. Put me on a minute, let me demonstrate. I only keep time when the song plays.